is a further shot in arrears on 3 under par, while the English duo of Charlie Hull and Lottie Woad both struggled as they signed for 2 over par rounds, the same as the American Nelly Korda. And finally in golf, moving over to the PGA Tour, and the first round of the Memorial Tournament has been completed at Muirfield Village Golf Club on Thursday, and there is a 4-way tie for the lead on 5 under par. There is Wyndham Clark, JJ Spawn, Ryan Gerard, the 3 Americans. They're joined at the summit by the Englishman Tommy Fleetwood. Nick Taylor is a further shot in arrears on 4 under par, while Sam Burns and Justin Rose are both on 3 under. Ryan Fox, JT Poston, Shane Lowry, Tony Finau and Patrick Cantlay are all on 2 under par. It was a disappointing opening round though for the world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, who was aiming to become the first player since Tiger Woods to win this tournament 3 years in a row, as he signed for a 1 over par at 73. That's all for now, we'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and several Celtic supporters clubs have put their name to a statement which opposes the potential appointment of Robbie Keane as the new manager because of the Irishman's previous role as Maccabi Tel Aviv head coach. It is suggested that Keane has held talks with the Scottish champions' principal shareholder Dermot Desmond about taking over at the club. The Republic of Ireland's record goalscorer has won league titles in Israel and Hungary as a manager. However, his decision to stay in Israel after the conflict in Gaza drew criticism in his homeland and has turned a section of the Celtic fan base against him. Moving over to athletics now, and world indoor champions Molly Cordery and Georgia Hunter-Bell triumphed in the pole vault and 1500 metres at the Diamond League meeting in Rome. Two-time world indoor champion Cordery sealed the pole vault title with a clearance of 4.80 metres. Track star Hunter-Bell, who took her first world title in Turin in March, broke away from the leading pack to win her event in 3 minutes 58.63 seconds at the Stadio Olimpico. Elsewhere at the meeting, which was packed with British interest, in Keely Hodgkinson, who was another to strike gold at the World Indoors in Poland, finished 7th in a rare outing over 400 metres. The 24-year-old was unable to challenge and finished in 51.14 seconds, while compatriot Amber Anning came home 5th in 50.19. In the women's 200 metres, British athletes Amy Hunt and Dina Asher-Smith took 4th and 5th respectively, with times of 22.52 and 22.76. It was a race won by Olympic champion Julian Alfred from world title holder Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. And finally now finishing with a couple stories in golf, and Jennifer Kupcho made a strong start to golf's second women's major of the year as she leads the US Women's Open by 1 shot after the first round on Thursday. The 29-year-old American fired a 5 under 66 at Riviera Country Club in Los Angeles to lead from South Korea's Kim Se-young. Kupcho said that took a little bit of weight off my chest after she missed the cut at this event in the past 3 years. Gabby Lopez is a further shot in arrears on 3 under par, while the English duo of Charlie Hull and Lottie Woad both struggled as they signed for 2 over par rounds, the same as the American Nelly Korda. And finally in golf, moving over to the PGA Tour, and the first round of the Memorial Tournament has been completed at Muirfield Village Golf Club on Thursday, and there is a 4-way tie for the lead on 5 under par. There is Wyndham Clark, JJ Spawn, Ryan Gerard, the 3 Americans. They're joined at the summit by the Englishman Tommy Fleetwood. Nick Taylor is a further shot in arrears on 4 under par, while Sam Burns and Justin Rose are both on 3 under. Ryan Fox, JT Poston, Shane Lowry, Tony Finau and Patrick Cantlay are all on 2 under par. It was a disappointing opening round though for the world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, who was aiming to become the first player since Tiger Woods to win this tournament 3 years in a row, as he signed for a 1 over par at 73. That's all for now, we'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and several Celtic supporters clubs have put their name to a statement which opposes the potential appointment of Robbie Keane as the new manager because of the Irishman's previous role as Maccabi Tel Aviv head coach. It is suggested that Keane has held talks with the Scottish champions' principal shareholder Dermot Desmond about taking over at the club. The Republic of Ireland's record goalscorer has won league titles in Israel and Hungary as a manager. However, his decision to stay in Israel after the conflict in Gaza drew criticism in his homeland and has turned a section of the Celtic fan base against him. Moving over to athletics now, and world indoor champions Molly Cordery and Georgia Hunter-Bell triumphed in the pole vault and 1500 metres at the Diamond League meeting in Rome. Two-time world indoor champion Cordery sealed the pole vault title with a clearance of 4.80 metres. Track star Hunter Bell, who took her first world title in Turin in March, broke away from the leading pack to win her event in 3 minutes 58.63 seconds at the Stadio Olimpico. Elsewhere at the meeting, which was packed with British interest, in Keely Hodgkinson, who was another to strike gold at the World Indoors in Poland, finished 7th in a rare outing over 400 metres. The 24-year-old was unable to challenge and finished in 51.14 seconds, while compatriot Amber Anning came home 5th in 50.19. In the women's 200 metres, British athletes Amy Hunt and Dina Asher-Smith took 4th and 5th respectively, with times of 22.52 and 22.76. It was a race won by Olympic champion Julianne Alfred from world title holder Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. And finally, now finishing with a couple stories in golf, and Jennifer Kupcho made a strong start to golf's second women's major of the year as she leads the US Women's Open by one shot after the first round on Thursday. The 29-year-old American fired a 5 under 66 at Riviera Country Club in Los Angeles to lead from South Korea's Kim Se-young. Kupcho said, "That took a little bit of weight off my chest after she missed the cut at this event in the past 3 years." Gabby Lopez is a further shot in arrears on a 3 under par, while the English duo of Charlie Hull and Lottie Woad both struggled as they signed for 2 over par rounds, the same as the American Nelly Korda. And finally in golf, moving over to the PGA Tour, and the first round of the Memorial Tournament has been completed at Muirfield Village Golf Club on Thursday, and there is a 4-way tie for the lead on 5 under par. There is Wyndham Clark, JJ Spawn, Ryan Gerard, the 3 Americans. They're joined at the summit by the Englishman Tommy Fleetwood. Nick Taylor is a further shot in arrears on 4 under par, while Sam Burns and Justin Rose are both on 3 under. Ryan Fox, JT Poston, Shane Lowry, Tony Finau and Patrick Cantlay are all on 2 under par. It was a disappointing opening round, though, for the world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, who was aiming to become the first player since Tiger Woods to win this tournament 3 years in a row, as he signed for a 1 over par at 73. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and several Celtic supporters clubs have put their name to a statement which opposes the potential appointment of Robbie Keane as the new manager because of the Irishman's previous role as Maccabi Tel Aviv head coach. It is suggested that Keane has held talks with the Scottish champions' principal shareholder Dermot Desmond about taking over at the club. The Republic of Ireland's record goalscorer has won league titles in Israel and Hungary as a manager. However, his decision to stay in Israel after the conflict in Gaza drew criticism in his homeland and has turned a section of the Celtic fanbase against him. Moving over to athletics now, and world indoor champions Molly Cordery and Georgia Hunter Bell triumphed in the pole vault and 1500 metres at the Diamond League meeting in Rome. Two-time world indoor champion Cordery sealed the pole vault title with a clearance of 4.80 metres. Track star Hunter Bell, who took her first world title in Turin in March, broke away from the leading pack to win her event in 3 minutes 58.63 seconds at the Stadio Olimpico. Elsewhere at the meeting, which was packed with British interest, in Keely Hodgkinson, who was another to strike gold at the World Indoors in Poland, finished 7th in a rare outing over 400 metres. The 24-year-old was unable to challenge and finished in 51.14 seconds, while compatriot Amber Anning came home 5th in 50.19. In the women's 200 metres, British athletes Amy Hunt and Dina Asher-Smith took 4th and 5th respectively, with times of 22.52 and 22.76. It was a race won by Olympic champion Julianne Alfred from world title holder Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. And finally, now finishing with a couple stories in golf, and Jennifer Kupcho made a strong start to golf's second women's major of the year as she leads the US Women's Open by one shot after the first round on Thursday. The 29-year-old American fired a 5 under 66 at Riviera Country Club in Los Angeles to lead from South Korea's Kim Se-young. Kupcho said, "That took a little bit of weight off my chest after she missed the cut at this event in the past 3 years." Gabby Lopez is a further shot in arrears on a 3 under par, while the English duo of Charlie Hull and Lottie Woad both struggled as they signed for 2 over par rounds, the same as the American Nelly Korda. And finally in golf, moving over to the PGA Tour, and the first round of the Memorial Tournament has been completed at Muirfield Village Golf Club on Thursday, and there is a 4-way tie for the lead on 5 under par. There is Wyndham Clark, JJ Spawn, Ryan Gerard, the 3 Americans. They're joined at the summit by the Englishman Tommy Fleetwood. Nick Taylor is a further shot in arrears on 4 under par, while Sam Burns and Justin Rose are both on 3 under. Ryan Fox, JT Poston, Shane Lowry, Tony Finau and Patrick Cantlay are all on 2 under par. It was a disappointing opening round, though, for the world number one Scotty Scheffler, who was aiming to become the first player since Tiger Woods to win this tournament 3 years in a row, as he signed for a 1 over par at 73. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and several Celtic supporters clubs have put their name to a statement which opposes the potential appointment of Robbie Keane as the new manager because of the Irishman's previous role as Maccabi Tel Aviv head coach. It is suggested that Keane has held talks with the Scottish champions' principal shareholder Dermot Desmond about taking over at the club. The Republic of Ireland's record goalscorer has won league titles in Israel and Hungary as a manager. However, his decision to stay in Israel after the conflict in Gaza drew criticism in his homeland and has turned a section of the Celtic fan base against him. Moving over to athletics now, and world indoor champions Molly Cordery and Georgia Hunter-Bell triumphed in the pole vault and 1500 metres at the Diamond League meeting in Rome. Two-time world indoor champion Cordery sealed the pole vault title with a clearance of 4.80 metres. Track star Hunter-Bell, who took her first world title in Turin in March, broke away from the leading pack to win her event in 3 minutes 58.63 seconds at the Stadio Olimpico. Elsewhere at the meeting, which was packed with British interest, in Keely Hodgkinson, who was another to strike gold at the World Indoors in Poland, finished 7th in a rare outing over 400 metres. The 24-year-old was unable to challenge and finished in 51.14 seconds, while compatriot Amber Anning came home 5th in 50.19. In the women's 200 metres, British athletes Amy Hunt and Dina Asher-Smith took 4th and 5th respectively, with times of 22.52 and 22.76. It was a race won by Olympic champion Julian Alfred from world title holder Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. And finally, now finishing with a couple stories in golf, and Jennifer Kupcho made a strong start to golf's second women's major of the year as she leads the US Women's Open by one shot after the first round on Thursday. The 29-year-old American fired a 5 under 66 at Riviera Country Club in Los Angeles to lead from South Korea's Kim Se-young. Kupcho said that took a little bit of weight off my chest after she missed the cut at this event in the past 3 years. Gabby Lopez is a further shot in arrears on a 3 under par, while the English duo of Charlie Hull and Lottie Woad both struggled as they signed for 2 over par rounds, the same as the American Nelly Korda. And finally in golf, moving over to the PGA Tour, and the first round of the Memorial Tournament has been completed at Muirfield Village Golf Club on Thursday, and there is a 4-way tie for the lead on 5 under par. There is Wyndham Clark, JJ Spawn, Ryan Gerard, the 3 Americans. They're joined at the summit by the Englishman Tommy Fleetwood. Nick Taylor is a further shot in arrears on 4 under par, while Sam Burns and Justin Rose are both on 3 under. Ryan Fox, JT Poston, Shane Lowry, Tony Finau and Patrick Cantlay are all on 2 under par. It was a disappointing opening round, though, for the world number one Scotty Scheffler, who was aiming to become the first player since Tiger Woods to win this tournament 3 years in a row, as he signed for a 1 over par at 73. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and several Celtic supporters clubs have put their name to a statement which opposes the potential appointment of Robbie Keane as the new manager because of the Irishman's previous role as Maccabi Tel Aviv head coach. It is suggested that Keane has held talks with the Scottish champions' principal shareholder Dermot Desmond about taking over at the club. The Republic of Ireland's record goalscorer has won league titles in Israel and Hungary as a manager. However, his decision to stay in Israel after the conflict in Gaza drew criticism in his homeland and has turned a section of the Celtic fan base against him. Moving over to athletics now, and world indoor champions Molly Cordery and Georgia Hunter-Bell triumphed in the pole vault and 1500 metres at the Diamond League meeting in Rome. Two-time world indoor champion Cordery sealed the pole vault title with a clearance of 4.80 metres. Track star Hunter-Bell, who took her first world title in Turin in March, broke away from the leading pack to win her event in 3 minutes 58.63 seconds at the Stadio Olimpico. Elsewhere at the meeting, which was packed with British interest, in Keely Hodgkinson, who was another to strike gold at the World Indoors in Poland, finished 7th in a rare outing over 400 metres. The 24-year-old was unable to challenge and finished in 51.14 seconds, while compatriot Amber Anning came home 5th in 50.19. In the women's 200 metres, British athletes Amy Hunt and Dina Asher-Smith took 4th and 5th respectively, with times of 22.52 and 22.76. It was a race won by Olympic champion Julian Alfred from world title holder Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. And finally now finishing with a couple stories in golf, and Jennifer Kupcho made a strong start to golf's second women's major of the year as she leads the US Women's Open by one shot after the first round on Thursday. The 29-year-old American fired a 5 under 66 at Riviera Country Club in Los Angeles to lead from South Korea's Kim Se-young. Kupcho said that took a little bit of weight off my chest after she missed the cut at this event in the past 3 years. Gabby Lopez is a further shot in arrears on a 3 under par, while the English duo of Charlie Hull and Lottie Woad both struggled as they signed for 2 over par rounds, the same as the American Nelly Korda. And finally in golf, moving over to the PGA Tour, and the first round of the Memorial Tournament has been completed at Muirfield Village Golf Club on Thursday, and there is a 4-way tie for the lead on 5 under par. There is Wyndham Clark, JJ Spawn, Ryan Gerard, the 3 Americans. They're joined at the summit by the Englishman Tommy Fleetwood. Nick Taylor is a further shot in arrears on 4 under par, while Sam Burns and Justin Rose are both on 3 under. Ryan Fox, JT Poston, Shane Lowry, Tony Finau and Patrick Cantlay are all on 2 under par. It was a disappointing opening round, though, for the world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, who was aiming to become the first player since Tiger Woods to win this tournament 3 years in a row, as he signed for a 1 over par at 73. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm James Mason. We'll begin in football, and several Celtic supporters clubs have put their name to a statement which opposes the potential appointment of Robbie Keane as the new manager because of the Irishman's previous role as Maccabi Tel Aviv head coach. It is suggested that Keane has held talks with the Scottish champions' principal shareholder Dermot Desmond about taking over at the club. The Republic of Ireland's record goalscorer has won league titles in Israel and Hungary as a manager. However, his decision to stay in Israel after the conflict in Gaza drew criticism in his homeland and has turned a section of the Celtic fan base against him. Moving over to athletics now, and world indoor champions Molly Cordery and Georgia Hunter-Bell triumphed in the pole vault and 1500 metres at the Diamond League meeting in Rome. Two-time world indoor champion Cordery sealed the pole vault title with a clearance of 4.80 metres. Track star Hunter-Bell, who took her first world title in Turin in March, broke away from the leading pack to win her event in 3 minutes 58.63 seconds at the Stadio Olimpico. Elsewhere at the meeting, which was packed with British interest, in Keely Hodgkinson, who was another to strike gold at the World Indoors in Poland, finished 7th in a rare outing over 400 metres. The 24-year-old was unable to challenge and finished in 51.14 seconds, while compatriot Amber Anning came home 5th in 50.19. In the women's 200 metres, British athletes Amy Hunt and Dina Asher-Smith took 4th and 5th respectively, with times of 22.52 and 22.76. It was a race won by Olympic champion Julianne Alfred from world title holder Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. And finally now finishing with a couple stories in golf, and Jennifer Kupcho made a strong start to golf's second women's major of the year as she leads the US Women's Open by one shot after the first round on Thursday. The 29-year-old American fired a 5 under 66 at Riviera Country Club in Los Angeles to lead from South Korea's Kim Se-young. Kupcho said that took a little bit of weight off my chest after she missed the cut at this event in the past 3 years. Gabby Lopez is a further shot in arrears on a 3 under par, while the English duo of Charlie Hull and Lottie Woad both struggled as they signed for 2 over par rounds, the same as the American.
Tried by him, but given away carelessly by McKenny, who puts up a hand in apology. Havertz can pick it up on this left-hand side. He's given a shove by Freeman, but keeps the ball. Sends it back to Musiala. Musiala now to Wirtz. Wirtz back to Havertz to the left of the penalty area. Now it has to go all the way back to Pavlovic. Pavlovic. And now Schlotterbeck. That's a good ball between the lines. Good play that. Sané teed it up. It's going to come to the left-hand side. Shot comes in. Sorry, to the right-hand side. Ballooned up off an American defender, who I think was Anthony Robinson. It's gone back to the midway point of the USA half. Germany have picked it up again. We have it with Musiala, who's relatively quiet so far in the game. Touch to his right. Metcha tries to run forward. Challenge came in from McKenny. Legal challenge, said the referee. America then have it on the far touchline. Germany put in the challenge and win the throw, much to Pulisic's incredulity. He thought the last touch came off the German defender. The replay was inconclusive, should we say. Feels that no contact was made on Kimmich and that he just threw himself on the floor. My view would be that there was a challenge on him from behind and it did make the merest contact, and Kimmich made plenty of it. Well, this is a very similar position to the free kick in the first half that Kimmich put into the box for Havertz to score. So we'll see if USA learnt any lessons from the last time and whether they can defend this one a little better. The top of Leroy Sané's right sock is split. I'm not sure whether that's a fashion statement or a challenge that he's undergone in the course of the game, but it certainly is split. I don't think it's a designer hole. It's Sané having a go from the free kick, but got that all wrong. But he dinked it a bit like an 8 iron, and it carried too far. Sailed over the top of the crossbar. So we've played 9 minutes in the second half. USA 1, Germany 1. In this last international friendly for both sides before the World Cup begins. It begins very soon now. So, a free kick to Germany just inside to America, just inside the German half. It was played forward and Pulisic got the first touch on it, but it was a heavy touch off his knee and the ball ran away from him. He couldn't keep hold of it. Unlucky. Germany have had only one loss in the last 21 against teams below them in the FIFA rankings. That's another reason why they were probably favourites going into this game. That one defeat was to Slovakia in 2023. And it's their only loss outside of Germany since the end of the loss to Slovakia in 2025, rather, is their only loss outside of Germany since the end of 2023. All played into the American penalty area. There was a couple of people sprawling, but nothing came of it. The ball was out on this near side. It's going to be a throw to the USA. It's inside their own half, about 3 or 4 yards inside their own half. Freeman will take it. Thrown in onto German head. 2 German players went for the same ball there and it didn't work out very well for them. Kenny slides in, but beaten to the ball by Sané. Now the Mecha. Clutch it back to Kimmich. Here's Pavlovic. Kimmich once more. Sends a diagonal ball out to the far touchline. Kai Havertz plays it back inside. Musiala, that's a good ball by him. Finds Havertz out on that right. Robinson goes to confront him. Played back to Nemecha. Musiala now on the edge. That's a good ball from him again. Driven across the box by Nemecha. It's played out on the far side for a throw by the USA. That was good play, and Musiala was at the heart of it. He was the pivot in a couple of 1-2s there. Here he is again, playing a ball into the box to Havertz. Feed up, shot comes in, it's in! Leroy Sané! has put Germany back in front. And that too, centred around a crucial pass from Jamal Musiala. It was played into the edge of the box. Musiala had it, played a pass on the turn. Havertz teed up Sané, and he rifled it left-footed all the way along the ground, past the despairing dive of Matt Freese. And Germany have retaken the lead here at Soldier Field. In the 58th minute, it's USA 1, Germany 2, and Leroy Sané is the scorer. Well, it's a nice finish from the Manchester City man, the former Manchester City man. Very good. It's his 76th cap tonight, his 17th goal. And his debut over a decade ago. And a 2-0 defeat to France in St Denis. A game that was overshadowed by explosions and shootings that took place around the stadium. Well, he'll have happier memories of this night, especially if Germany go on to win. And here they come again. All inside is from Havertz. Doesn't quite find Musiala on this occasion. But again, as they did in the first half, Germany have started the second half the better. It's a question really of whether the USA can summon the reserves that they summoned in the first half to get back in this one. Freese comes out to collect a ball played into his box. Releases it to Weston McKennie. Played forward to Balogun, who will run it down the left-hand side. Looking for help inside now. McKennie provides it. Nice ball between the lines, but overhit at the end and goes through to Oliver Baumann. Baumann just releases it short. And Germany play the ball forward. Freeman is beaten to it by Havertz. Havertz sends it to this left-hand touchline. Florian Wirtz moving forward, sweeps it inside. Lots of room here for Havertz. Out to Sané on the right-hand edge. Sané played a little back heel, but Kimmich wasn't expecting it. Robinson's ball away is poor though. Straight to Sané. USA a little bit discombobulated for the time being at least. Ball is played to Musiala. Much more influential in this half. Can Sané keep that ball in? He does. On that far side, the German right. Lays it back into the path of Kimmich. Well, back to Sané again, but Sané was offside. Hadn't recovered his position. We tick past the hour mark here at Soldier Field. USA 1, Germany 2. Germany heading for a 9th win in a row. We're going to see the first substitutions of the night. So Germany are going to make a triple swap. Nathaniel Brown, Florian Wirtz and Joshua Kimmich, I think, are the men who are going to make way. It's as if Musiala might be making way as well. David Rahm is one of those coming on. We'll clarify who the rest are. Nathaniel Brown taking a break. Havertz has come off too. Dennis Undav, who scored 2 goals in the 4-0 thrashing of Finland last weekend, has come into the fray. Got a little bit of a knock in that game and wasn't fit to start here. Voldemar Anton has come on as well. Looks as if Anthony Robinson's developed a problem, which would be a big worry for the USA. Giovanni Reina has come on for Christian Pulisic. There's all sorts of changes going on. Weston McKennie has come off as well. Be replaced by Sebastian Berhalter.
Jefferson wouldn't. And finally now finishing with a couple stories in golf.
Hendry and Robertson, midfield four is Doak, McTominay, Ferguson and Christie, and then the front two of Shankland and Adams. It's a 9 p.m. kickoff for Bolivia against Scotland. Not long now until kickoff in New York as Scotland look to begin their preparations ahead of the World Cup starting. They're facing Bolivia in this international friendly. A chance for Steve Clarke to get a good look at his players before the start of the tournament. We'll start with the team news and we'll start with Bolivia, who classes the home side in this one. It's Vizcarra in goal. The back four of Rocha, Harkin, Morales and Fernandez. Midfield three is Villamil, Vaca and Mateus, with a front three of Paniagua, Ribera and Miguelito. As for Scotland, they're playing a 4-4-2 in this one. It's Gunn in goal. Back four of Hickey, Hanley, Hendry and Robertson. Midfield four is Doak, McTominay, Ferguson and Christie, and then the front two of Shankland and Adams. It's a 9 p.m. kickoff for Bolivia against Scotland. Not long now until kickoff in New York as Scotland look to begin their preparations ahead of the World Cup starting. They're facing Bolivia in this international friendly. A chance for Steve Clarke to get a good look at his players before the start of the tournament. We'll start with the team news and we'll start with Bolivia, who classes the home side in this one. It's Vizcarra in goal. The back four of Rocha, Harkin, Morales and Fernandez. Midfield three is Villamil, Vaca and Mateus, with a front three of Paniagua, Ribera and Miguelito. As for Scotland, they're playing a 4-4-2 in this one. It's Gunn in goal. Back four of Hickey, Hanley, Hendry and Robertson. Midfield four is Doak, McTominay, Ferguson and Christie, and then the front two of Shankland and Adams. It's a 9 p.m. kickoff for Bolivia against Scotland. Not long now until kickoff in New York as Scotland look to begin their preparations ahead of the World Cup starting. They're facing Bolivia in this international friendly. A chance for Steve Clarke to get a good look at his players before the start of the tournament. We'll start with the team news and we'll start with Bolivia, who classes the home side in this one. It's Vizcarra in goal. The back four of Rocha, Harkin, Morales and Fernandez. Midfield three is Villamil, Vaca and Mateus, with a front three of Paniagua, Ribera and Miguelito. As for Scotland, they're playing a 4-4-2. Well, good evening. It's a very warm welcome to this independent, unofficial, off-tube studio commentary. We're just about ready to get underway in New York for this international friendly between Bolivia and Scotland. We should have kicked off a few minutes ago. However, there's been a bit of a delay. Both sides are actually now just swapping ends by the looks of things. About to go 3 minutes past 9 and still not underway in this one. But it's a big match for Scotland. The first of their preparations really to get themselves underway for the World Cup, which of course gets started on Thursday with that first match between Mexico and South Africa. Scotland not in action until a few days later when they play Haiti, of course, in their first group match. They've also got the likes of Brazil and Morocco in Group C, so it's going to be tough for Scotland to get out of that group, but they'll really fancy themselves for it. Of course, coming into this one with really exciting plethora of talent. No less, of course, Scott McTominay, the main man in the middle of the park. He's going to be crucial if Scotland do anything at this tournament. It looks like we are finally ready to get underway. Delayed kickoff. Apologies in New York for this one. At the home of the New York Red Bulls. The players have been out on the pitch for quite some time now, and the game's still not back. Still not underway for the first time as Angus Gunn tries to get himself prepared for it. Pitch looking in quite a good condition, which can't be said for some of the pitches going into this World Cup by the looks of things. And it is going to be Scotland getting us underway finally as well, with Che Adams playing from left to right in this one. Scotland in their away kits, the bright pink one with purple shorts and pink socks as well. Bolivia meanwhile playing from right to left in their dark green shirt with white shorts and white socks. The ball played long, looking for the run of Lawrence Shankland, the Heart striker, who looks almost certain now to make his move across town towards, across towards Glasgow to Rangers. Ben Gannon Doak there with some good work, and he battles past his man. He's still away down that right hand side before eventually he's stopped in his tracks by Vaca. But it's going to be myself, Joshua Makin, alongside me Nathan Westell, taking you through this one. And Nathan, this is a good warm-up match for Scotland just to get themselves acclimatised to the World Cup.
Yeah, I think so. Big for them, of course. We talk about that game against Haiti, and then they've got Morocco and Brazil. So it'll be tough against Morocco, of course, and Brazil. Haiti maybe not so much. You'll probably see that as the three-pointer, but you know, it is a bit of a tough group for them. They've got a brilliant team though. It's probably the best Scotland team we've seen in a fair while, it has to be said. You know, you've got Scott McTominay, absolute superstar. He's been brilliant for Napoli. You've got the captain Andy Robertson in there as well. It's all about Shea Adams, and Shankland's had a brilliant season for Hearts as well, of course, like you say, moving to Rangers. So big for them. Bolivia, nothing to play for. So you're absolutely right. It's warm up for Scotland, one they want to win. We talk about momentum, of course, but if you were to drop a result to Bolivia, then it may just mentally just be a bit of an effect. They've got some good players out there as well, of course, a couple on the bench, Sean McGinn being one of them, but they want to get a positive result early in this to then take into the group stages.
Yeah, they certainly will. Of course, these results do mean nothing. I mean, we've just seen Spain draw to Iraq the other day, and I don't think they'll be taking any sort of pelters for that one. France, of course, lost to the Ivory Coast, and they've just got to sort of keep a lid on things, and just it's all about the performance, acclimatising to the weather, of course. I mean, it looks like it's going to be blistering heat this World Cup, something that these Scottish players are not perhaps used to. Maybe Jack Hendry is the one of the centre backs for Scotland. He plays with football with Al Ettifaq in Saudi Arabia, and I will go through the full team news in just a moment. Scotland are mounting an attack with Andy Robertson, of course, who's just announced his move to Tottenham Hotspur, leaving Liverpool after an illustrious career with them. Free kick given eventually on. I can go on to the team news for you. So Bolivia will start with them. Vizcarra is the goalkeeper. It's a back for Rocha, Harkin, Morales, Fernandez. It's in the midfield, it's Varka, Villamil and Mateus, with a front three of Paniagua, Miguelito and Ribera as well. For Scotland, 4-4-2 for them. Nice and simple. It's Gunn in goal. Back four is Hickey, Hanley, Hendry and Robertson. Midfield four is Gannon, Doak, McTominay, Ferguson and Christie. And a front two, of course, of Shankland and Adams. Bolivia having the ball on the deck now. 3 minutes gone, still goalless between these two sides. It was actually heartbreak for Bolivia. Of course, they got into the Intercontinental playoffs, finishing 7th in the World Cup qualifiers in South America, which are notoriously hard to qualify from. And you look at the teams that were ahead of them. I mean, there's the usual suspects, if I can get my words right. Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, Colombia. Sort of always expect them to qualify. Ecuador as well, who have got a fantastic team. Paraguay pipping them to it. They were 8 points off of Paraguay in the end, but just couldn't quite get themselves to the tournament, as opposed to Scotland, who went through automatically, of course, after that fantastic win against Denmark. And it was some bad news though, haven't they, Scotland? Billy Gilmour injured before the start of the tournament. That's definitely thrown a spanner into the works, but as you mentioned before the kick-off, Nathan, quite a fan of Lewis Ferguson in midfield. Yeah,
big fan of him. Absolute engine, isn't he? Like you say, Billy Gilmour will be a miss in that midfield, but yeah, Lewis Ferguson, absolutely fantastic. Of course, plays his football in Italy, in Serie A, which a lot of these Scottish players seem to think in the midfield do, and Scott McTominay at Napoli alongside Billy Gilmour, and Lewis Ferguson at Bologna. May just suit them down to the ground, the Italian football. But yeah, there's some good players in there, and they've definitely got a bit of depth in the team, something they've lacked for many a year. So it's a bit of a rotated side tonight for Steve Clark. Well, tonight for us, but afternoon over there in New York. But it's one of them. A bit of a rotation to it, and see what they're all about under Steve Clark. I'm trying to impress.
Yeah, that will certainly be the answer for them. Of course, Che Adams playing for Torino at the moment as well, so another player playing his football abroad, and Steve Clark will think the more players that are playing abroad, the more it will actually suit his Scotland team to be able to learn more. They've got an attack now as well inside the box there, up towards the overlap. Robertson's going to chip it in towards the end. This could be a chance. Shankland with the header, and he scored as well. Lawrence Shankland continuing his fine form from the Scottish Premier League season. What a start it is for Scotland in New York. After just 5 minutes, Bolivia 0, Scotland 1.
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. What he's all about, the 30-year-old, and that's the reason he's been snapped up by Rangers. 16 goals in the SPL in his last campaign, and it's taken him nearly 5 minutes to get himself on the score sheet. That's what he's all about, Lawrence Shankland, isn't it? It's well worked down the left-hand side as well. Patient, ball from the byline, ding, clipped in. Shankland he's dragging himself backwards as well to then generate the power to get it forward. Top right-hand corner from 6 yards out. It's a very neat header. Was it Robertson with the ball in? I want to give him the flowers. Lovely ball from the left-hand side. Yeah, it was. It was Robertson who's just chipped it in. I mean, that's the sort of star quality you expect, isn't it, from the likes of Andy Robertson. It was Christie who played him in as well. Another Premier League player. You just look all over the pitch, and there's so much top-class, sort of top-league talent now in this Scotland team. Right through the heart of it. Likes of McTominay, Ferguson, as we've already mentioned. Bolivia are going to try and respond now. It's actually Vaca on the edge of the box who's going to look to get a shot away. It's played through now for Miguelito, who tries to play it through the line. Scotland will come away with the space now for Gannon Doak to explode into down the right. He's got the better of his man for pace as well. Paniagua
Brendan Duck still going. He finds Che Adams out on the edge of the box. Adams onto his right foot. He's going to go for the shot from range. He hits it low. Spilled by the goalkeeper. Bolivia should eventually get this one clear, but what a start it is for Scotland.
Absolutely brilliant. Gannon Doak, fantastic. Barrel of energy down the right hand side. Thought he just lost the ball, but he kept it in front of him, kept the pace up, moved far side. Che Adams thought he was thinking about the cross, but then he just opened up for him. He didn't catch it great, did he? It was quite central, but it bounced right in front of the keeper. So that's made it hard for Vicara. He just had to sort of flap at it. But again, I think Scotland could have doubled it. I thought it was a big chance. I think he should have made it too.
Yeah, certainly could have done that. Of course, this is not the only friendly taking part of the World Cup preparations. Most sides, if not all of them, are now out and over towards the United States, Canada and Mexico. And of course, Scotland's main rivals, England, are also in action this evening. They've got underway at the same time in Tampa Bay in Florida. It's currently goalless between the Free Lions, though, and New Zealand early doors in that one. And I'm feeling quite a strong team, so we will keep an eye on that one as well as this game. Meanwhile, Wales, of course, not managing to qualify for the World Cup. They played a game in Bucharest this evening against Romania. They're on the worst end of that one, losing 2-1 in the Romanian capital. And, blistering heat conditions again, as we're seeing at the height of summer. Scotland back in position though now, and this has been a really positive start from Steve Clarke's side. Exactly what he'll have wanted to see. Lawrence Shankland, he's nearly won Hearts a title off of doing that this season, and they're just looking confident and assured. Yeah, they are. I think he's going to be huge for them in the tournament, Lawrence Shankland. Of course, they played the two up top. Che Adams, of course, like himself, playing in Italy at Torino. Didn't really work out for him in England. I wouldn't say he's a top striker. He's got something about him, that's for sure, and he can score a goal, but I think Lawrence Shankland, yeah, he's going to be huge for them in the tournament. Certainly is, and here he is again, Shankland, finding it out towards Gannon Doak, who's had a lively start. The Bournemouth winger wants to try and take on his fullback again. He's got the better of them. Good ball into the box. The far post is the target. He's going to pick it up apart from Robertson. Now across towards Ryan Christie. Getting more possession for Scotland as Ferguson plays it back towards Christie. I did do a Scotland game sort of recently. It was in the last international break. They played Ivory Coast in a friendly at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, and I have to say they were pretty poor in that game. I was sort of left a lot to be desired. Not sure if that was because, of course, a lot of these players were in the midst of seasons and more focused on perhaps sort of title run-ins, but they were poor in that game. Like a different side at the moment, albeit against Bolivia, as Christie now hits one into the ground, and goalkeeper can easily get a hold of that one. It was Biscara. I imagine he's going to be quite busy this evening so far after what we've seen already in this game. Bolivia playing out from the back. 9 minutes gone. Still Bolivia 0. Scotland 1. That Lawrence Shankland goal, the difference between these two sides for the time being. They're actually having a bit of the ball, Bolivia. They're knocking it around fairly nicely at the moment without doing too much with it. We've not really seen their attackers in too much action yet, in the form of Paniagua, Ribera and Miguelito as well, who's had a few decent touches of the ball. Just looking elsewhere, looks like Germany are in front against the United States, 2-1 to them in that game. Leroy Sané has added to the early goal from Kai Havertz. Anthony Robinson had equalised with an absolute screamer, if you haven't seen it. A volley from the edge of the area, it nearly took the net off in that game at Soldier Field. And that's the scores there. Switzerland 1-0 up against Australia in their game. It's goals between Qatar and El Salvador. Portugal beat Chile 2-1 earlier. Both sides finishing the game with 10 men after a fight broke out between two of the players. Rafael Leao was sent off for Portugal. Not the greatest sign before a World Cup starts. I believe they have won themselves a free kick. It's over on this near side as well. Just a one-man wall for Scotland in the form of Gannon Doak. Plenty of players lining up in the box. Not the tallest team though, I believe it's Miguelito. One of the worst set-piece deliveries you'll see all season. I mean, Scotland have got the better of Bolivia physically and in terms of height as well, and Miguelito's barely even beat the first man with that cross.
Yeah, not great. Not great at all. They haven't really got close to Scotland's goal in the opening 10 and a half just yet. Of course, like we mentioned, not really playing for anything. Sometimes that helps though. You know, take the shackles off a little bit and a little less of the pressure. Yeah, not real much quality there, unfortunately. They're not the best team, not the best South American team by a long way, it has to be said, and never have really been, unfortunately. So it's a great opportunity for Scotland, and well, they've just got off to the best start.
Yeah, great feet though there from Morales, and he finds it through towards his man in the form of Fernandez. Now on the left towards Miguelito, who's popping up along that forward line a bit more often as this game continues. Wants to try and cut inside of Ganondorf. He's got the better of him as well. Michelito up towards the byline, still going, showing plenty of confidence, and eventually playing it off of Hickey last and out for a corner. That's decent stuff there from the Santos man. He wiggles his way through and wins Bolivia their first corner.
Much better, much better indeed from that left-hand side, working it better. That's good on the ball there, from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. Angus Gunn there, Norwich keeper, just hasn't really been tested in this game yet. They've got themselves a corner, they're going to go short though.
Yeah, Michelito pass back now towards Mateus. It's got going quicker this from Bolivia. Michelito will eventually swing it in. It's a really poor delivery, and well, he looks decent on the ball so far. His final ball just seems to be lacking a little bit.
Really underhit again. That's extremely poor. Just look at this pitch, by the way. I'd probably even say better than a lot of Premier League pitches, you know. It looks unbelievable at Sports Illustrated. New York Red Bulls, of course, the home of. So you can't blame the turf. It looks immaculate out there by every inch and every blade. If it's that standard of the World Cup, then we're in for a treat. But you can't blame the turf. I think the quality just really lacked there.
Yeah, I can't really see it being the same quality as the ones in the World Cup. Of course, a lot of the stadiums being used for the tournament aren't going to be the NFL stadiums, aren't they? Which, you know, it looks like they've just put a bit of grass down on top of some concrete. And they've gone with that. This stadium is a football stadium, so they can focus on the grass more often, make it a better surface, and yeah, it's rolling around really nicely at the moment, as opposed to one that England look to be playing on in Tampa Bay. Of course, the NFL stadium, it looks poor out there, and I'm surprised that England have gone with such a strong lineup, with the risk to injure it. But our focus is on this Scotland game, and Bolivia are just starting to go into this one, Mark. They're having some decent amounts of possession. Mateus again now is popping up in the centre. They've still not really laid a hand on Scotland, and Angus Gunn, I don't even think has had a touch of the ball yet, the Scotland goalkeeper. Of course, plays for Nottingham Forest. He's not their starting keeper. That usually falls to the feet of Matt Sells. Out there by Hakim. Out towards Rocher as well. Bolivia stops into some possession around the back at the moment without really going anywhere with it. But again, Morales will now try a marauding run forward. It comes off of Ganondorf and then onto the hand of Morales. He'll feel a little bit harshly done by there, but free kick has been given regardless. Bolivia will just have to settle for that one. Scotland with a free kick well inside their own half. It's going to be Aaron Hickey to take it. Yeah, he does have his arm out, doesn't he?
From the initial view, and I thought he had it down by his side, but he was well out there. He actually looked like he tried to cup the ball. Again, if this was for something, and it was a bit more of a competitive game, might have even seen yellow there, but from first angle, when we were live in it, it didn't look like handball at all.
Yeah, it didn't. Just sort of seemed to bounce onto him, but in the end, couldn't do anything about it. This is actually the first ever meeting as well between Bolivia and Scotland. It's actually Bolivia's first ever game against the side from the UK in general. They've never played England, Scotland, Wales or Northern Ireland, interestingly enough. So first ever audition for them. They've won just one of their last 21 matches as well against European opposition. That came in March 2024 when they defeated Andorra by just a single goal to nil. So they usually don't do well coming up against European sides. And Doak now back towards Aaron Hickey. Of course, the Brentford man who a lot of his career has struggled with injuries, but I'm a big fan of Aaron Hickey. Whenever he does play, he's a good option for them, and especially in the Scotland team, they've now got a strong wing-back pairing.
Yeah, Aaron Hickey's one of them that he never really got that break, did he, in the team? Never really got the time to do it and showcase what he's all about, but he's still getting in the national side. I do like what he's about, yeah, like you're absolutely right. He's an attacking fullback, and he brings a lot of energy going forward. And of course, Andy Robertson, we don't need to read off his CV, do we? So, yeah, two very fantastic fullbacks. Talk about attacking fullbacks, he's the one that got the assist, tells everything you need to know.
Certainly does. Scotland have won themselves a free kick by the looks of things. It's Ryan Christie who was fouled there inside the Bolivia half. I think it was the number 9, Ribera, who'd given it away 15 minutes in. And it is going to be this free kick over for Robertson. It's well without a range, but probably a good delivery. In fact, he's gone short with it. He's playing Christie down this left-hand side and fire it across the face of goal. And this time there's too much on it. Roland Shankland is fantastic in the air, as we've already seen in this game, but he's not going to get to that one. Neither is Grant Hanley. It's safely behind for a Bolivia goal kick. Yeah,
it's a ball in that looked cross come shot, and it looked way too much on it but he did violently at the last minute. I just thought Grant Hanley was about to get there. He's not the most agile, of course, big centre-half. Couldn't get there. If his long libs can't, not many can in the end. But again, posing issues down that left flank. It's the left flank for Scotland, isn't it? That seems to be where they're going for. It's where they're getting the most joy. Of course, that's where the goal came from.
Yeah, just looking at Bolivia's qualification campaign, it looks even more interesting the more that you sort of read into it. They've of course lost to Iraq in the Intercontinental Playoffs, which would have been a heartbreaking form, but I think they were really lucky to get to that stage in the first place. They actually conceded the most goals in the group phase. They conceded 35 altogether, but then they beat Brazil by just a single goal to nil in one of those games as well. So quite the campaign for them to beat Brazil, yet still concede the most goals and ultimately nearly end up at the World Cup. Scotland now have it down on the deck. It's out towards Hickey and look to move it over halfway line. Stopped in the tracks. Shankland out showing deep for it. He thinks that Ben Gannon-Doak, he's a lot further up the pitch than he actually is. So ultimately his ball forward doesn't lead to anything. Bolivia can get the ball back down on the floor. A lot of possession between the centre-backs so far. Steve Clarke well without in his technical area, barking out instructions towards his team. It's not the greatest pass out of defence, and Christie can pick it up. It's a heavy touch though from the Bournemouth man. Ultimately out for a throw-in over on that far side. Rocha is going to be the man to take it as well. It's taken short. Still really waiting for Bolivia to arrive in this match and pose some sort of threat. Plenty of touches of the ball for them. It's almost level, I think, in terms of possession, if not even more in the favour of the South American team. I've not just seen it, and here's McTominay now really getting a good run through the middle. He finds it out towards Christie. Robertson available on the overlap. He finds him as well. First time ball in from the new Tottenham Hotspur player. It's off of his man though and out behind for a throw-in almost immediately. It's Rocha who's got the final touch. Taken down now there by Fernandez. Paniagua as well now back towards goal, but they've lost out, and Scotland will start to build this attack from their own half. Ferguson again showing deep for it. Nice ball out towards Gannon-Doak, who's looking really positive and wants to attack the fullback. He attacks Fernandez again, wants it on his left foot, gets it as well. Back towards Ferguson again. Now for Hanley. Hendry. Robertson. Back towards Hendry as well. Plenty of H's in that Scotland back line. It's a nice alliteration. And McTominay just before the centre circle. He wants to do a crossfield ball. What a touch behind that is from Che Adams. He's really unfortunate not to find the run there of Christie. It was almost a scorpion kick from the former Southampton man. Ultimately ends in a throw-in. But some of those Scotland players just starting to flaunt a bit.
Yeah, they are. That's absolutely brilliant from him. I'll tell you that. As I talked about his technical ability, that's for all the world to show. And brilliant, just under hit slightly, but right idea, an awkward ball to him. It's unfortunate. It's gone out for a Scotland throw-in on the far side, but Bolivia aren't in this game at all, are they? I think you're just counting the numbers before we see another Scotland goal.
Yeah, we are. Almost thought for a moment we were going to see it there as Christie looked to turn his man inside the penalty area. Didn't quite manage it though. Played forward. Ferguson now with a header back in towards the centre. Chance for Shankland, maybe if he can get it down. He does so. He finds Adams. He'll take the shot on. And it's just wide of the post. Good effort there from Che Adams. The strike force linking up. And Che Adams is not a million miles away from finding the bottom corner.
Oh, I just thought it nestled. I did. Snapped at it across goal. Bottom left corner. He did the right thing. It's not a million miles away. Shankland nearly turning provider this time. Oh, it's not a million miles away at all. Just past the left post. Unlucky. It's really unfortunate in the end. It will be a goal kick. Something I think we'll see, of course, out in New York at this time. It would be the middle of the day. I think we'll see a drinks break very soon. Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised. Probably meant to have had it already, but this game did kick off just slightly late. A few minutes behind the England-New Zealand game. Just past the 20-minute mark in this one. Bolivia 0, Scotland 1. Throw in again over on that far side. Feels like the ball's been out of play quite a lot of times in this one. McTominay with a risky pass back towards Angus Gunn. He ultimately will find Grant Hanley on the edge of his own box. Now not really going anywhere with it. Mikelito is trying to lead the press for Bolivia. He's probably been the most exciting player so far. However, the ball is fairly low with that one. Robertson driving forward now, linking up again with Christie. Nice little relationship being formed between those two. Ultimately back with the Scotland goalkeeper though, and just optimising the slowness of this one. Scotland able just to go really wherever they want with the ball. Ferguson thinks about a run forward, but ultimately goes back towards Jack Hendry. And just looking at the depth that Scotland have got to come on. I mean, when you can bench players like John McGinn, there's also the likes of Kieran Tierney, Nathan Patterson, top level players, as Gannon Doak now cuts in on his left foot. He's unlucky there. He's hit that one fairly nicely. He's hit it low and hard. Ultimately though, comes off of his own man. It's Shankland who blocks it, and Gannon Doak quite exciting on that right side.
Yeah, he is. There's a lot of energy about him, and I do like that, I must say. They're unfortunate their mind. They are unlucky, but we talked about that left flank causing a lot of issues. It's mostly Robertson rather than Ryan Christie, the Bournemouth man, but Gannon Doak down this right hand side as well. Brilliant, very exciting as well. They move it very quickly, Scotland. They're very exciting coming forward, and here he comes again.
Yeah, out towards Gannon Doak now. It's just moving up down that right hand side again. He's causing the fullbacks Fernandez a lot of problems, and he wants the overlapping run to be made by Hickey. It is, but Gannon Doak gets the cross to the far post himself. It's going to be headed back the other way though. Robertson will pick it up by the touchline, keeps it in, finds Ferguson. Nice link up now to find Christie on the edge of the box. Paul into the area. Shankland lays it off. McTominay with the strike, and it's into the bottom left corner. Scotland's talisman comes up with a goal. What a team move that was as well from Steve Clarke's side. It ends up at the feet of their man they want it to fall to the most. Maybe questions over the goalkeeper, but what's for certain is that it's Bolivia 0, Scotland 2.
They were flirting with that Lauren Shankland assist, and he's finally got it. A flick first time around the corner. Some lovely football from the Scottish side. Flicked into him. McTominay, it's not his most truest shot. It isn't. It's a nice flick by Shankland, and then, yeah, he's caught it, but it's bouncing. There isn't a massive amount of power in it. Is a world-class keeper going to save that? Probably yes. He's biscuit wristed it into the bottom right-hand corner, hasn't he? He's got a touch, but he needs to get rid of that, the keeper. But either way, it's still a good effort by the Scottish midfielder into the floor, and you can't say they don't deserve that.
No, you definitely can't, but I think the goalkeeper is going to be disappointed when he looks back at that one. It has just gone through his hands far too easily. And with that now, it's quite a convenient point, because we've now hit the drinks point break in the game that Nathan was alluding to just a few moments ago. It also means we're halfway through the first half in this one. Things going to plan so far for Steve Clarke's side in their first international match before the World Cup starts. It's Bolivia 0, Scotland 2, and I'll hand over to Nathan.
Thank you very much. As drinks and fluids go on board for both sides, and so far, very much so far so good for Steve Clarke and his men. What I will say is who they have: Morocco, Brazil, and Haiti. Haiti's second ever World Cup, first one in 1974, so they'll be up for it. That'll be a tough first game, but you'd like to think Scotland can look at that and think we can walk away with maximum points. Morocco's side are going to be a lot of dark horses for a lot of people and a lot of predictors, because they are a good side, and we saw that in AFCON. And then obviously Brazil, who they are. Yeah. It's a very tough group, it has to be said. So they'd like to think they get at least 3 points against Haiti. The drinks are still going on, by the way, as we speak. But, you know, Brazil aren't exactly who they were at one point. They're still a very good side in that, and I think Scotland and Morocco, I'd probably lean slightly more on Morocco, but you'd like to think Scotland would probably fancy themselves against Morocco.
I think there's something in it for him in that group. I mean, I think the fixtures work out nicely for Scotland as well. The fact they've got Haiti on that first game, if they can get that 3 points, I mean, with the way that this World Cup works, it looks like if you're going to win at least one game in your group stage, you're probably going to go through because of the third place ruling. If you can beat Haiti, maybe put a few goals past them, that might already secure your place in the round of 32. I mean, you can go into those Brazil and Morocco games with sort of that pressure lifted off you. Brazil are not going to go into any game at this World Cup with the pressure off. They're going to be scrutinised to the max, especially with the whole circus around, you know, the Neymar selection and what's been going on. It's not the same Brazil of old. There's sort of weak spots in that team. I think the fullbacks especially are poor. The attack obviously is fantastic individually, but you just worry about them as a team. I think Morocco are probably the toughest opponent in that group. I think they're a much more sort of collective unit. Of course, African champions sort of. I mean, they didn't actually win the final, did they? They won it retrospectively. I think there's definitely something for Scotland at this tournament, and they can have a good run. Yeah,
it's a Brazil side. You know, the fullbacks they used to have. Maicon, you think of Roberto Carlos, of course. You know, they don't have that in space, and if they come into Brazil in that final game, who may have already been qualified, you're giving yourselves a good chance, that's for sure. You're absolutely right in where the fixtures have fallen for Scotland. I mean, in terms of England, it's probably the other way, isn't it? You've gone from the hardest to, you'd quote unquote, the more easier of the two. That referee looks absolutely jacked, by the way, in our game. He looks like a rugby player, doesn't he? The drinks break has just got back and finished. They've taken a kick off, Bolivia, from the drinks break, which is not something we used to see.
Wasn't it straight? But I think they just went to the drinks break.
Of course they did, yes. Apologies, yes they did. You're right. You're absolutely right. Scott McTominay scored and went to the drinks break, which was good timing. It's nearly half an hour gone in the England game against New Zealand, and it does remain 0-0. Nothing in that, I don't believe, at all. Whereas we've had 2 goals, and Scotland are well in control of this game and cruising. Bolivia just have the ball right hand side with Mateus, move it backwards to Roca and Hakwin. Over it goes to Morales. He'll move it on to Fernandez on the near side on halfway. Right to left come Bolivia in this first half. 27 minutes on the clock. Bolivia 0, Scotland 2. Of course, Bolivia not going to the World Cup. Scotland are. And they want to carry a bit of momentum into it. Hakwin, right of centre. Just going to move it back across the centre circle. They're looking for Fernandez. But Bolivia trying to move it forward has just conceded possession all the way back to Angus Gunn, who's had very little to do in between the sticks. Glides it forward, good flick on as well, looking for Shea Adams. Can't find his man. Tell you what is a breath of fresh air, seeing a team go 4-4-2 as well. That's an interesting strategy, but seem to be working. Free kick for Bolivia halfway inside the Scotland half far side. Ferguson's taking his man down, but yeah, the 4-4-2 seems to be working.
It does, and when you've got a front pairing like Shea Adams and Shankland, you can absolutely make the most of the 4-4-2. It's quite an old throwback tactic, isn't it? Having sort of one big striker and having the smaller, quicker one just sort of playing off him. They've got quick wingers in as well in the form of Gannon Doak and Christian, just sort of industrial midfield. So it's sort of a throwback Scotland team, and with the way that the sort of Premier League works now, you're thinking physicality is starting to become more important. Scotland are starting to play off that as well. They look good from set pieces as well. They've got the threats in those positions, so absolutely no surprise to see them going for that tactic.
No, absolutely not. They do seem to gel very well together. Shankland did turn provider at one point. Shot's going to come in from the edge of the box, low and hard. Angus Gunn first save him. Mateus with the effort down to the right hand corner, but it was smart save by Gunn.
Yeah, it was a smart save, one that he should make, really, shouldn't it? The Premier League goalkeeper from that sort of range shouldn't be getting beaten. Mateus, I think that's probably Bolivia's first attempt in the game, I want to say. Definitely their first on target. It's not a bad effort at all from Mateus. He does well to keep it on target. There's not really any pace on it, not really any power. And Gunn easily just collects that one up off the floor. Yeah,
he did catch it well though. Save. First attempt on goal for Bolivia. Nearly half an hour gone. Bolivia 0, Scotland 2. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Move to the near side to Fernandez. Down to the near side it goes. He's just trying to take his man Gannon Doak there. Just lively to that. It's good footing by him. Of course, changed his name from just Ben Doak to Gannon Doak. I believe Josh rightly told me he takes up his mother's name as well to a double barrel as it's moved inside. They brought out the pronunciation video, didn't they, for the Scotland team, which is always so fantastic for us commentators. Helps us, and it will help us in the tournament. A ball over the top that may cause some issues here. Grant Hanley's just swept it up, and then Jack Henry's helped it back to Gunn, who's just going to kick it long. Kick it very high, look for Shea Adams, can't find him, it's over his head. Bolivia back on the ball. I think Scotland just taking a foot off the gas ever so slightly since taking that 2-goal lead, and I don't think that's a coincidence. Of course, in that heat as well, not known on the east side for the heat, but when New York does get hot, it does get very humid.
It does. It's really tough to play in, isn't it? And Scotland are through again now.
Ball's going to be coming in from the right hand side. Oh, it's in the back of the net. Shea Adams in on goal, and he's made it 3 on the half-hour mark. A lovely ball down the right hand side to Gannon Doak inside the box, across goal. Unmarked, he is Shea Adams to put it into the roof of the net in the middle of the goal. And they're starting to run riot, and it's a day to remember for Scotland. It's all far too easy.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, they're playing against a second-rate side, aren't they, really, in the form of Bolivia, like they don't really want to be there at this point. You can hardly blame them as well. It must be tough when you're coming up against a side that is going to the World Cup and you're not. It's not nice for them, and just sort of being run ragged at the moment. I mean, Shea Adams has a simple finish. Keeper is out to him, to be fair to him, and he makes it sort of hard to aim at, but the ball's just put on a plate, and once again that strike force combining. We said that it was, was working pretty nicely, and Shankland is really having an impact. He's been directly involved there. 3-0.
3-0. Absolutely brilliant for Scotland. of course. I wasn't Gannon Doak there. Give me his flowers for the ball across. Yeah, it was along the floor, across goal to an unmarked Shea Adams, but you've got to get that right on the money. You put too much to the right to the keeper, too much to the left, it's behind him. It's harder than it looks to put a ball in like that across the face of goal. It was a brilliant ball in from the right-hand side along the floor, zip with pace. And Shea Adams gets himself on the score sheet, and it does not hurt Scotland mentally as well. Running riot like this against this Bolivia side. Absolutely fantastic football, attacking football being played, and they're very exciting in it. As Bolivia back on the ball with Morales over to Fernandez on the near side. Down the line it goes. Looking to Perenga, just going to try and stab it inside. As it's trying to play it off someone. It looks like it's come off a Scotland body. Has it? No, it hasn't. It's come off a Bolivia man. It'll be a throw-in for Aaron Hickey on the near side. What I will say about Scotland, we talked about the 4-4-2. They look like they're a very well-balanced team. It's a very much a right fit for every player in their position.
Yeah, and that's the crucial thing, isn't it, in international football? You can have all the individuals you want in the world, but if you can't build a proper team out of it, you're not going to win anything. You need players that are going to fit the role nicely, and this could be another one here.
There's a right-hand side. He's allowed to run all the way inside. Shot comes in straight at the keeper at the feet. In the end, from left to right, Ryan Christie, but didn't really catch it with the left foot. And it's straight at the keeper. It was interesting. I was listening to John Barnes have a conversation, and he says it's not about the best player in a team, it's about the best team and who can gel together. I'm not saying Scotland are going to win the World Cup, of course, but you know, a lot of people, including myself, tip France to win the World Cup. Yes, they've got Ousmane Dembele, Barcola, Doué. Yeah. The list goes on. You know, some brilliant names out there, but can they gel as a team? You talk about the defence maybe not being the best. France. We talked about Brazil maybe not being the best all round. I think he's on to a point where it's the all-round 11 that's probably going to get the success this year.
Yeah, and that's why I think Spain are probably the favourites going into this tournament. I've always thought, you know, I think De La Fuentes has done an unbelievable job. That Spain team, of course, is stacked with talent. You've got Lamine Yamal, who's arguably the best player in the world right now, and that's always going to help you. But they've got so much more than that as well. The way they work as a collective unit, and that's why I think they might have the edge over teams like France, like Brazil, because they've got that just sort of entertainment factor about them. They all play in their roles and they're all suited to it. You get the feeling with Brazil and France, they've got players who might get a bit murked if they aren't playing in the way that they want to. And I'll just break off. Bolivia have got an attack on.
Left hand side, they're going backwards to go forwards here, across the face of the box and move back out to the near side. This is good football over to this left side, trying to get the ball in. It's hit Aaron Hickey. It will be a corner for Bolivia on the near side. That's better from Bolivia. Travelled to America to play this. Seamless, nothing for them, friendly. I'm sure they'll be getting a good financial backing for doing it. Number 7 is going to take it in Miguelito. He's going to go short again. They're very slow and methodical from the short corners. They don't put it in with pace. They're going to float it in now to the back post. Going to head it back across. Looks like maybe an offside here. There is. Shouldn't be offside. They've taken that long from a short corner to get it into the box. Looking across the line, shouldn't be offside.
No, they shouldn't. I mean, I couldn't understand why they're going short and trying to be methodical with these set pieces. We already mentioned they're not a tall team in the slightest, are they? They're really sort of lacking in physicality, so maybe they just have to think outside the box. It's not quite worked out for them so far, though. And you're just thinking, you know, maybe one of these set piece training ground routines is going to pay off at some point. Just not quite so far.
It's really poor. There's at least 3 players there offside. Still 0-0 in Tampa, Florida, between England and New Zealand. No real massive chances just yet. I think Harry Kane had a header saved by the keeper. Apart from that, nothing to really write home about. I don't think New Zealand have threatened. Not like Scotland have threatened to a 3-0 to the good. 10 minutes to go till the break. I think the problem France have had at the World Cup, going back to that story, is it's an ego thing. A lot of egotistical players that play for themselves rather than the team. I think that's why they've lacked for many a year, and you do fear that's the same this year. You know, the Ousmane Dembele of Ballon d'Or, and Mbappe, of course, all probably playing for themselves to look good rather than the actual team themselves. And you know, I was looking at France as strong favourites, but you know, you're always looking at Spain. Of course, won the Euros as well. I think the only place they're really lacking, I mean, the midfield and defence is phenomenal. I think it's a striker. Of course, you're looking at Morata. Yeah. He's a good striker, but you wouldn't put it as a world class.
No, you wouldn't. I think a lot of teams are sort of facing that same problem at the moment in international football. I mean, we'll go back to Brazil. I don't think they have sort of an out-and-out quality striker, do they? Lots of fantastic wingers and maybe number 10s as well, but not many great strikers. Obviously, England have got Harry Kane, but then you look down the depth list at that, and it's not that impressive. Spain don't have it, as you've just mentioned. Argentina have got Julian Alvarez, of course, who's brilliant, but again, beyond that, not really anything to write home about. So I think it's just a sign of the game changing, really. Now, wingers are becoming more and more important. Now, 10s are basically running the show at this point. Second strikers, it's all about those and false nines, isn't it? And that's sort of maybe something that Spain are going to play into. It's helped them win the Euros already so far, and something that they'll look to go back to back with.
Yeah, the last won the World Cup in 2010, of course. Remember that last gasp Iniesta goal, beating the Netherlands in extra time right before it looked like penalties. And they'll look to get what I believe to be their second ever World Cup win. I think that was their first in 2010. So they'll be looking, like you say, back to back from the Euros, who subsequently, you haven't missed anything, by the way. We've just had a free kick. We've got a free kick for Scotland in the Bolivia half. Who I did watch. I watched the tournament back, and I watched how England played to get to the final. I think they were fairly fortunate to get there because they didn't play that well. And I think overall, after watching Spain throughout the whole tournament, they were by far and large the best team.
Yeah, they were. They were an absolute joy to watch, weren't they, that tournament? It felt like England had just sort of grinded their way to the final. They managed to just get results, and a lot of teams did that in the tournament as well. Spain felt like the only team that when you watched could really go and batter someone, and that's how it ended up working out. You know, they dished out a few good beatings to teams, and that Euro final, it just being a bit of a difference in class between the two teams. Spain, looked like they could do it at any moment. England, of course, got that equaliser with Cole Palmer, and maybe it had their moments, but Spain always looked in control throughout. I'm interested to see how that develops going into this tournament. Not in the best form, Spain, at the moment.
No.
Truth be told, we just mentioned drawing 1-1 with Iraq in their international friendly. But of course, those games don't matter. It's all about acclimatising. Even though Spain is a lot hotter than England, I don't think it's quite the heat that we're going to be seeing in this World Cup, and that might be just an edge that South American teams have over the Europeans.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point. I do think it's a bit more open, this tournament, than it has been for the last few years. I think there's some evidence there that I think someone could sneak into the semi-finals that we're maybe not used to seeing. I'm not going to put a name on it, but I definitely think that could be the case in this tournament, as they're going to take a throw in here on the near side. Scotland back to the game in hand as they're getting it back underway, and as soon as I say that, there's a man hit the deck once again. So we've got another break to maybe talk about the World Cup that's coming up. That's a very small player. How tall is he for Bolivia? The man on the bench warming up, he looks about 4'5". He's
probably
tiny.
Just average height in this Bolivia team.
Probably, to be fair, number 18. We'll see exactly whom it is. Probably a man that's going to replace the man that's on the floor. Trying to see exactly who it is, the number 18, Santella, the number 18. All eyes on him, so he's probably going to be the player that's coming on if this injury does occur. I'm trying to see exactly who's on the deck, but we've got another break in play. But yeah, I think it's an exciting World Cup for me. I think there's definitely the obvious favourites. England are always in the top, but I don't think they're ever convincing favourites. Brazil, France and Spain, I think I think Brazil's at the bottom of the three of the branch.
I don't think you can rule out Argentina, of course.
Of course,
world champions, and as long as Lionel Messi is playing in that team, they have always got a chance. The players will pretty much die for him, won't they?
Yeah, and I think another one we haven't mentioned yet is Portugal, of course. Ronaldo finishing his story, it will be his last World Cup. They've got probably their best team in a long time, in over a decade, I'd say. They've got Bruno Fernandes, and I think if Ronaldo was to win this final World Cup it's a bit of a story written fairy tale that doesn't always happen in football, but I think he's a player that probably won't be in the team as much as he probably should. You're playing his football in Saudi and 40 plus years old, so I think he's one of them that he shouldn't really start most games if they want to do well.
I think he probably holds them up at this point, to be honest. I think it's different to Messi, where he sort of still is able to do his thing. I think Ronaldo sort of expects too much. I'll break off though, because Bengandoka's got a chance inside the box now, and he'll go for goal. It's a big save from the goalkeeper. Might just go wide for a corner in the end. There wasn't much happening just before that. That's why we were talking about the other teams, but immediately Scotland almost getting a fourth.
They were 1-on-1 from a throw-in that happened from an injury. Very close. Good save it was from Vizcarra in goal. Lovely flick. Robertson down left hand side. Is that going to be a Scotland corner? It is. Move from the left side from a throw-in. 1-2, and he's clipped it out of play. So it will be a corner on the far side. 5 from the break. Scotland looking to make it 4. Well in control of this game. Been very convincing, of course. It's hard to judge, isn't it? We talk about how good Spain are. They drew with Iraq 1-1. They had a very, very rotated team. I think Iglesias up top, that plays for Celta Vigo. It's not the worst striker in the world, but against this Bolivia side that aren't playing for anything. Lewis Ferguson with the ball into the back post. Headers in. Oh, it should be 4. It should be 4. Bit of an awkward one for Robertson. It was flicked onto the back post to the skipper. He just couldn't get over it. Maybe he didn't expect it either, but the flick on was brilliant from the front post. I think they were trying to do that. Shea Adams, he just couldn't get over it. It should be 4, goal kick.
I think he needs to do better there. Andy Robertson, he just looks at the ground in disgust with himself, doesn't he? As a result of it, and you can see why. He's got to be getting that on target. He's maybe not quite expecting it to come to him. The way that it sort of falls to him, a bit of pace on it as well. Just can't quite get over it and get it into that far corner. Thinking if it's Lauren Shankland in that position, then it's going to be 4-0. But against Scotland, they just look able to be able to turn on the gears whenever they like, and Bolivia just can't really deal with them. It's they're barely out of second gear in this game, Scotland. They've already scored 3 and could easily have 4 or 5.
Absolutely. As the ball's moved to the near side for Fernandez, just inside the Scotland half near side in the shadow. And it's almost split bang in half, and the sun on the far side as they kick from right to left in this first. Not far off for the mandatory 45 been done. Maybe a couple of minutes. Of course, they've had an injury and a drinks break, but it's 3-0 to Scotland, so it might show a bit of mercy, especially in the heat. It's moved to the near side to Villamil. He's just going to try to put a ball in. It's good feet on the left-hand side. Is that a foul? Well, they're going to play advantage. Actually, shots come in, and they may be wishing they shouldn't. Are they going to give the free kick now? Yeah. They have, but I honestly think as a referee, if you're going to play on and the shot's going to come in, you can't go back after the advantage. They've played the advantage.
Yeah,
I think that's wrong.
What it looked like as well, but Villamil,
I think they're complaining about that.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. I mean, Villamil just takes on the wildest of shots and just completely catches it wrong, doesn't he? He scuffs it. It's more towards the corner flag than it is towards the actual goal in the end there. And yeah, they are going to get a free kick here, Bolivia. I mean, based on the set pieces we've seen from them so far, they've left a lot to be desired. Scottish fans behind the goal, though, look to be enjoying themselves at least.
Yeah, they are. Brilliant for them. Ball on the left-hand side for the free kick. Yeah, it was a tough one, but he played advantage and they had the shot, but they pulled it back. And it's going to be a free kick left side for, Fernandez just getting back to his feet. And I'm just trying to see exactly who will take this free kick. Will they go for goal? It's an awkward angle. Maybe zip it to the back post side if you can. If there's no touch, you might go no. It's going to be a left foot of Mateus. He does have a teaser of a left foot, it has to be said. It's going to be a cross. He can't shoot from there. He's going to have to outswing this crossing. Can they get a goal back just before the break, Bolivia? Something to shout about, because they've had nothing to shout about in this first half. Number 14 is going to take it. He's going to go long to the edge of the box. Low shot's going to come in to the first man. Gannon Dote's going to try and get away with it. Oh, he's just kept it in. It was a hard one to take with the head, but he's giving it straight back to Bolivia. Move to the near side to Fernandez. No real movement for him, so he's just going to have to check backwards in the safety net of his own half. Back to Morales, and across it goes to Roca on the far side, right of centre. He's just standing still on the ball. Not a lot of movement for them at the minute, just right to left. Come back to the near side for Mateus, who stayed out on this left flank. Keeping hold of the ball, not doing a lot with it, to be honest. And over to the far side. Still 0-0 in Florida between England and New Zealand. No sign of that changing. I heard there's no real chances to talk about for England. Of course, hard to judge in a friendly. Like you say, Spain, the European champions, have been held by Iraq, so it's hard to judge. But I tell you what we've seen in Scotland have been very positive signs. Would you say this is probably just off their best team they've got? I think that there may be just a couple of names shy, one being John McGinn. I'm just going to break off. Gannon Doak on another brilliant run. Move to the far side. Shea Adams looking to get himself a brace on that right foot. Shot's going to come in. He's going to get a second shot at it. It's 4-0. It's a brilliant goal as well. It's Gannon Doak to Shea Adams once again. And it looks like England have just hit the back of the net through Harry Kane as well just before the break. And it's Gannon Doak's got himself another assist. Brilliant work from the right hand side, moving it to the left. Gannon Doak, and he's moved it to Shea Adams. I think for me, he hasn't hit the back of the net, but Gannon Doak's probably been my player of the match so far. But on 45 minutes, Bolivia 0, Scotland 4.
Yeah, I think he definitely deserves a goal, doesn't he, at this point? Ben Gannon Doak, the way that he's just carried this ball, it looks effortless for him. And Shea Adams, he's in a striker, he knows what position to put himself into. He has another go at it after his first strike. He's initially blocked quite well by the captain Hacking, and that second one's just got too much power on it in the end. Nothing the goalkeeper can do about that one. We've criticised him at times in this game, but he's not getting anywhere near that. Che Adams has a first half brace. Both of Scotland's strikers have scored. Their main man, McTominay, has scored as well. You have to say, as far as first halves go, this is an absolute 10 out of 10 for Scotland.
Yeah, absolutely. McMuffin, it's a goal sandwich as it's moved to the far side. On halfway, back it goes. We haven't heard how much added time there'll be. Of course, there was 4 goals as well. Half time, England 1, New Zealand 0. Harry Kane with the only real big chance of the game. It looks like a flick-on header into the bottom corner after a Jed Spence cross. 3 minutes added. We're a minute into the 3. And it's 4-0, and Scotland want this to be more. Yeah, I was just going to touch on Scotland. Do you think this is a couple of names off their strongest 11?
I think it's probably, it might just be the one name in the form of John McGinn, really. I'm looking at the others. Maybe a place for Kieran Tierney in there.
John Souttar.
Yeah, I think maybe it's centre back. Obviously, Jack Hendry, we don't get to watch too much of him with him being in the Saudi League, but he's been an ever-present in the Scotland setup. Maybe it's just him. I think the rest of it, though, is pretty set in stone. There's Premier League talent all over this pitch, and with the way they played in this first half, Steve Clarke's probably thinking, well, I'll tell you what, I think just John McGinn in the mix, and we're pretty sound for this World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. Which does begin on Thursday, of course. Mexico, South Africa, and I think every football fan is excited for it. I think football fans love when the summer's filled with a European, with a worldwide tournament, I should say, whether that's Euros or the World Cup. There's always that off season when there's nothing. It's always a long couple of a few weeks, isn't it? But happy that we've got the World Cup, even if it is in a much different time zone. Move to the near side. Gannon Doak just on the ball. He's going to have to run forward here, clipped away from his heels. We're just about 30 seconds shy of the break. Inside it goes, keeping hold of the ball with Vaca. He's just moved it to the right hand side to Hakwin and over to Rocker far side. The number 21 strafing down the right flank. He moves inside. It's a good touch inside. And he's just going to move it into the centre of midfield to Morales, who's got the ball at his feet. Playing at left centre back, the right footer. Moves it backwards. Hakwin over to the far side to Rocker once again. It's keep ball for them, but not doing a lot with it. They're running out of time. Only 10 seconds left of this half. Move to the far side. A little bit of room for Fernandez. Left-footed ball in. Looks like a decent one as well. Headed clear. Are they going to get time for the corner? They are. We've got a Bolivia corner on the far side. Miguelito is going to take it. But we're over the 3 minutes. They need to get on with it. Of course, we did have that goal in it as well, so they may have just bought themselves a little bit more time. It's going to be a left-footed in-swinging corner by the number 7. Can they get themselves a goal back before the break? They need to get on with it. He's taking his time over this. The referee may just blow. This will be the last play of the first half. It's either going to be 4-0 or 4-1 going into the break. Can Bolivia save a bit of face? Ball going to come in. Doesn't look too bad to the back post. Evades everyone. And that will be half time from the referee. All going to plan from Steve Clarke's side. And it's only a one team in it. At half time, it's Bolivia 0, Scotland 4.
Half time in New York, and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They fired themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages, meaning that it's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half time in New York, and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They fired themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages, meaning that it's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages. I mean, that's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages, meaning that it's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages, meaning that it's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages, meaning that it's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages, meaning that it's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages, meaning that it's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages, meaning that it's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages, meaning that it's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages, meaning that it's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages, meaning that it's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages, meaning that it's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York, and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages, meaning that it's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York, and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages, meaning that it's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York, and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish Premier League this season. His header at the far post put them 1-0 up. McTominay, the star man, making it 2-0 about halfway inside the first half. Chedham's then adding a brace as well towards the latter stages, meaning that it's pretty much perfect so far from Scotland. Bolivia barely in the game, barely laying a finger on them, and it's going so well. Half-time in New York, and things going perfectly so far for Steve Clarke and Scotland. They find themselves 4 goals to the good against this Bolivia team. They got off to the perfect start as well. Lawrence Shankland been in fine form for Hearts in the Scottish.
That's a very warm welcome back to this independent unofficial off-tube studio commentary. We are just about back underway for the second half in New York, and the score remains Bolivia 0, Scotland 4. What a first half it was for Steve Clarke's side. They were really going all the gears in that first half, and Bolivia just couldn't deal with them in the end. They barely laid a finger on Scotland. I think Angus Gunnar's had 1 save to make. That might even be a little bit generous with how Scotland have dominated it. Lawrence Shankland getting them off to the perfect start. The Hearts striker been in fine form, kept it up, and Scotland might have another chance right at the start of this second half. They can really go on and score as many as they want in this one if they fancy it. It's Hickey now with the ball over on that right hand side. Scotland looking to have a positive start. There's been a couple of changes though at the start of the second half for Bolivia, and understandably so. They were pretty much not in the game. There's been a change in attackers. Number 13 Penagui has come off in place of the number 18 Centella. He's just had a look at him as well. He's one of the smallest players I think I've ever seen on a professional football pitch. He almost looks like he should be playing in the under 18s category. He's that tall, and might be a chance now for Scotland as well. They've also made some changes which I'll run you through. One of the other changes for Bolivia was in defence. Rocha, the number 21, has gone off in place of number 3 Lucas Macazaga, so we'll see what impact he can have on the game. For Scotland, Andy Robertson has made way for Kieran Tierney, so the captain going off in place of Tierney, of course, was one of the men who sent Scotland to the World Cup. A fantastic goal against Denmark in the qualifiers. John McGinn also on in place of Ryan Christie. So that left side, that was really impressive for Scotland in the first half. They've both come off and both been wrapped in cotton wool ahead of this World Cup that will be starting, of course, on Thursday with Mexico against South Africa. But it's myself, Joshua Makin, alongside me Nathan Wastill, taking you through the rest of this second half. And Nathan, for the rest of this game, it's just more testing for Scotland. They've pretty much got the result secured, of course, and they've looked really impressive doing it.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, it's one of them. They just need to be professional now and coast through. Don't think Bolivia are even threatened. It'd be nice for Angus Gunn and co to get a clean sheet under their belt. It looks a lot better, and I think they'll just keep it professional. They'll probably try and go for a little bit more early in the second half. If they don't get it, then they can just sit on the 4 goals they've already earned through their hard work in the first, and they'll be happy to walk out 4-0 victors. But I think the most important thing for this second half is just trying to keep that clean sheet. Like you say, they've changed that left side. Andy Robertson, of course, getting to the latter stage of his career, bringing on Kieran Tierney, who's, I don't want to say made of glass, but he's had a lot of injury problems, hasn't he, during his career. It's another man you probably don't want to lose, but a whole different side to that left side who have been brilliant. Like you said, they'll probably want them to be featuring. Ryan Christie's probably going to not make the cut into that first team. It would be John McGinn that starts instead of him.
Yeah, you would expect that to be the case. Bolivia did actually make a third change as well. Ribera, the number 9, who I don't even think we barely mentioned at all in that first half, he's come off in place of the number 20, Carlos Melga. So just trying what they can, I think, Bolivia, to try and get into this game at all. It's not like Scotland have really had to go through the gears in this one as well. They barely got out of second gear, it's felt like. But every time they've gone forward, especially Ben Ganondorf, who's on the ball now, he's looked really threatening, and here he is inside the box onto that left foot, cutting in as well, and shot eventually is blocked behind by Morales. It's going to be a corner right at the start of the second half for Scotland. But you mentioned it, Nathan, Ganondorf, probably a good shot for man of the match so far.
Yeah, I think so. He wants that goal as well to cap that performance, doesn't he? Coming in off that right hand side, he's always looking up, but this time goes for goal. Not a bad attempt in the end, but there's a block in on that weaker side of him as well. He's just going to deflect out and go for a corner. John McGinn, first one, he's a bit of involvement he's got in the second half, and it's going to be a corner kick in, swinging with the left foot from that far side. Looks quite windy out there.
It certainly is. It's blowing towards the goal as well, so McGinn might find this favourable with the in-swinger. In fact, he's gone short and it's flicked behind Lewis Ferguson, I think that is. It's back out towards McGinn. It didn't quite work out the first time. McGinn goes towards the centre there, wants it on that left foot. It's not going to open up for him for now, so he finds Tierney out towards Ganondorf. McGinn's continued his space and he's in behind now as well. He gets it onto his right foot. That's going to be deflected behind for a corner. John McGinn already though causing problems.
Yeah, we're starting up as we're leaving off, aren't we? It's just all Scotland going through the gears, playing some really good attacking, attractive football. John McGinn getting it back on that unfavoured right. Took a deflection, probably was thankful for it. There'll be a corner from the near side this time, 5 minutes into the second half. Just trying to see exactly whom will be taking. It might be another in-swinger. A lot of options in there. It's going to be Lewis Ferguson.
It is going to be Lewis Ferguson to deliver the in-swinger. That 6-yard box is looking congested, and it goes as well. Bolivia just about deal with it at the expense of yet another corner, though. It's gone over towards the other side this time. So it is going to be McGinn. Scotland opting for the in-swingers and looking to put the ball directly on the goalkeeper. Can hardly blame them for doing so as well. The goalkeeper for Bolivia has not exactly had the greatest first half. There was maybe definitely one, maybe 2 goals as well that you think he could have done a lot better with. Thinking, especially with that McTominay goal, where it sort of just seemed to go through his wrists in the end. But Scotland have got their 4th corner of the game. Bolivia have had 3 so far in the match, so Scotland just about beating them on that total. McGinn eventually swings it in towards the box. It's headed by a Bolivia player, and a bit of chaos ensues before they finally should get it clear. Mateus is the man to relieve the pressure up towards Hickey on the halfway line now. Scotland looking to come forward. It's not the greatest touch over on that right hand side. McGinn was overstretching for it, so it's going to go out for a throw in about in line with the 18-yard box. You see there, the initial delivery from McGinn is a really strong one. McTominay is up there. I think it does come off the Bolivia player last. I think it's Morales, the defender, who almost heads it towards his own goal. He's probably the most relieved man in the stadium to see it not end up in the back of the net. But Bolivia can maybe mount an attack now down that left hand side. What can they do with it? Not too much so far. Cross is pinged in. They're asking for a handball, which they're actually going to get as well. It's right on the edge of the box. A free kick has been given. I think it's come off of maybe Grant Hanley last, who's the man over on that far side. Again, another set piece for Bolivia, but as we've already seen, this doesn't inspire too much confidence.
No, it doesn't, and they haven't amounted to anything so far, but they did get the handball, which I was slightly surprised for against Hickey, but nonetheless get themselves a free kick. They've had a couple which they haven't been great, but they've got some substitutions on the pitch, so see if they make a difference. But it's in a good position. We've got a yellow card for someone, and I think it's in a Bolivia shirt, and Miguelito, I think he said something.
Yeah, not quite sure what's happened there. The referee just turned round all of a sudden and brandished the yellow card in quite a dramatic fashion as well. Not sure if he was just sort of trying to stay around there or saying something to the referee. A little bit puzzling there from Miguelito, who has looked threatening at times for Bolivia without having too much substance. There's now going to be the free kick for Bolivia to come in. What can they do with it? Right on the edge of the area. Still 1-0 by the way to England in their game in Tampa Bay against New Zealand. Well into the second half now as well, just a few minutes in front of us. Their game getting underway a little bit quicker. Bolivia now just wanting to get something to save face. It's going to be Melga, the substitute, to take this one. It's favouring the right foot. We're going to have to wait even longer though, because now the referee is going across towards Che Adams to sort something out. I mean, he's the sort of referee, as you mentioned earlier in the first half, Nathan, that you wouldn't exactly mess with. He's looks more like a rugby referee, really. One that can sort of get hold of the players. They're definitely offering him some respect. But it's now finally going to be taken by Melga. He's had to wait an awful long time. He pings it towards the far post, and Gunn has to make the save in the end. I don't think there was too much power on that one. It didn't look the most threatening of strikes from the substitute. Bolivia are going to try and maintain this attack before Hickey gets a strong header away on it, but once again Angus Gunn forced into a bit of a half save.
Yeah, it's better though. A bit of improvement there for Bolivia, it has to be said, as the shadow goes over across the whole pitch. But yeah, it's a little better from them. I think Scotland just allowing them to play so far. I'm surprised we've only seen the 2 substitutions for Scotland. Again, it's another still a strong 11 for them. With the tournament coming up for them, I'd be surprised that we haven't seen more come off the bench.
Yeah, I have to say the same. Just the 2 substitutes still so far for Steve Clarke in this one. I imagine have probably planned it before the game what they were going to do in this one, no matter what the result was or the situation of the game. That usually is how it goes with these sort of friendlies. There's know what sort of 11 you're going to start with and how it's going to end up throughout, because the game changing course doesn't really matter. Bolivia have it now back on the floor with Mateus. Nice pass inside there, and Miguelito can now receive it over on this touchline. He's past Tierney as well. Bit of a loose pass, but still picked up by Mateus. Now back towards Vaca in the middle. It's over the top, and as the man stayed on side there, it's fallen for Centella in the end. Angus Gunn gathers it up of him. I mean, Centella's been pretty quiet so far since coming on, but just found himself beyond the line there. Yeah,
he did. He just couldn't get it under his spell. It's really unfortunate, actually. Very unlucky, but if he did, then probably in on goal. It's very unfortunate. Again, Bolivia still probing away ever so slightly. Just seeing that Centella, that little lad, sort of against Scott McTominay, it reminds me of that Crouch and Defoe link up at Portsmouth. It's one extreme to another. He's actually been done for a foul against McTominay. He's done very well to actually cause that in the end. Small against big there. It would be a free kick, Scotland.
Yeah, I imagine McTominay just sort of felt something clipping at his heels there as he was all over the back of him. In the end, though, it is the free kick for Scotland. 10 minutes into this second half, Scotland haven't got on the score sheet yet in the second half. They are still 4 goals to the good against Bolivia. Plain sailing in this one. And we'll already be looking ahead towards the future. Of course, that first game of the World Cup is going to be against Haiti. That is the only game they're going to play again now. Of course, beats Curacao 4-0 in their other game, 4-1 I should say, with 10 men. So it was a positive result in Glasgow. It's led them nicely to this match ahead of that game against Haiti, which will be the crucial one for them. I think if they can pick up 3 points in that, they're quite likely to end up going through. Bit of defending for them to do now, though, as Bolivia looking to make their way through. McTominay eventually gathers hold of it, though. Lovely footwork from McTominay, and he pokes it through nicely. McGinn could be in here. He has to take it back on himself, but he waits for reinforcements to come in towards the box now. Chadham's trying to put it across goal, who is on a hat-trick. It doesn't work out in the end. Bolivia have played themselves into a bit of trouble. They've actually conceded a corner kick as well as a result of it. And we just saw the quality there of Scott McTominay. He's not always been in the game. He's scored, but whenever he has got the ball, he just looks a class above.
Just keeps it ticking over, doesn't he? Absolutely brilliant by him. McGinn had to spin out. It allowed players to go forward, but it allowed players to get back as well for Bolivia. It's unfortunate. He doesn't have the pace, does he, as a wide man normally does. It was a good ball. Shadham's very unselfish. Like you say, he's on a hat-trick. I thought he'd go for goal, but corner kick Scotland.
Yeah, going to be the corner. It's going to be the in-swinger from McGinn towards the far post. Way too much on it in the end from the Aston Villa man. Used to seeing a lot better from him this season. However, on that occasion, he hits it way too hard and out for a goal kick. A bit of respite for Bolivia.
Yeah, I think they'll just sit on it and they'll just breathe for 5 minutes because they're back under pressure once again. Looks like England might have a penalty. I'm getting word in Tampa. It may have just been offside, to be frank. Someone did hit the deck. I thought they were going to get a penalty, but it would have been Ivan Toney to step up. But looks like he's gone 1 too early.
Yeah, it did look like that way. Flag going up, so England remaining at just 1 goal to the good against New Zealand. Did look close, but in the end, that decision has been given. Well, there's a free kick now for Scotland. McGinn's at the heart of everything at the moment, as you would expect him to be, and Bolivia don't really know how else to deal with him other than just to sort of foul him for the time being. Another yellow card's going to be shown now to a Bolivia player. I think it's Melga, the substitute. It might actually be to Lewis Ferguson, who wants to take the free kick earlier. I'm not sure what the decision is from the referee. He sort of brandished the yellow card without pointing it in a certain direction. I think it has gone to Melga, though. In the end, the Bolivia number 20, the substitute, who's buzzed about since coming on without really creating anything for who are classed as the home side. This game has of course been played up in New York, or maybe even towards more New Jersey, as McTominay brings it down. Out again now towards Hickey, plays it forward for Gannon Doak. That's a lovely turn from him as well as he lets it run behind him. Gannon Doak still going, he's let it run, it's up towards the goal line as well. It's cleared away. Gannon Doak back up off the deck though and looking to cause problems once more. He's taking it off of the defender in towards McTominay now. Heavy touch from him, so he's brought down his man. That's going to be a free kick to Bolivia, and in the end it looks like Scotland almost through.
He's McTominay, I think just a stray hand, but Gannon Doak on that right hand side causing all sorts of issues. That dummy was fantastic, wasn't it? The pass had the pace on it, so he let it run through his legs. It's really unfortunate. It's like a rake of the face there from McTominay. That's a bit of an ugly one, isn't it? Probably fortunate not to get a yellow card there, but lovely football down that right hand side again by Scotland.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Gannon Doak is, we've already mentioned, he's looked like the best player on the pitch a lot of times in this game. A really exciting player to watch. Scotland will just have to hope that continues really into the tournament. Looks like he's going to be the starting right winger for them, unless they opt to play him again on that right side and maybe keep Christie in his position. But they're good problems to have for Scotland, aren't they?
Healthy headaches for Steve Clarke, that's what I like to call them. That's talking the depth we talked about early in the first half. He has the depth a bit more now than he used to, this Scotland side, so it's good for him. And these friendlies are showing you exactly what it's all about and who wants to make a name for themselves. And well, we've got 4 substitutions about to come on for Scotland, so to prove to Steve Clarke what they're all about.
It's that sort of stage of the game, isn't it, where you can bring those players on now just to give them an audition, see what they can bring to the side. Good headaches to have as Scotland come forward again. It's a good marauding run forward over on that right hand side. I believe it's Hendry who's made the run forward. He eventually finds John McGinn, who has moved over as well towards the right side. In fact, it's Gannon Doak over there in the sunshine. Lays it off to Hickey. Ball will come in now. That's a decent delivery, and the goalkeeper opts for the punch this time. Once again, it's out towards a pink shirt, brought down by Kieran Tierney. Now crosses middle of the pitch towards Grant Hanley. We've passed the hour mark in this one. Still Bolivia 0, Scotland 4, but Scotland looking for a fifth now. Great ball through for Tierney in towards the box now. This could be a big chance. How's that not a fifth? Huge chance there for Scotland. And Lawrence Shankland, well, you'd fancy him every day of the week for that when he made the run on his man. Great ball in from Kieran Tierney, and somehow Shankland puts it wide.
Could say he shanked it. There we go. It's one of them, isn't it? He meets it on the right foot. Has he done the right thing? Could he find it on the left? No, he has to meet it with the right. It's a good ball across. Look for that bottom left corner. Just a man to his right. I think it's Morales. Just puts him under a slight bit of pressure. Maybe just rushes him, puts him off. It's one of them that you know he's not going to get there, but if there's someone running at your provisional, it's going to put you off slightly. And I think it's done just that. It may be his last touch of the game. It looks like Shea Adams going to make way. Ross Stewart, and it looks like George Hurst coming on as well. Shea Adams definitely going to make way for Southampton. Stewart, of course, involved in that Southampton team, the controversial Southampton team. And George Hurst in his bleach blonde hair is going to come on as well, who I do believe to me maybe Shankland's last touch.
Yeah, I think Shankland has come off. I could see him going off there. I think Ben Gannon Doak has also made his way off the pitch. Just waiting to see who it is coming off in place of him. So it's a definite change of strike force for Scotland, and job well done as well. Shankland has scored. Che Adams has got a brace, not afforded the chance to get his hat trick. Just waiting to see who it is on the field in place of Ben Gannon Doak. I believe it's the number 25 in the end, in the form of Finlay Curtis. So an introduction for him in this game. 62 minutes gone. Bolivia again will launch an attack to no avail. That's a good first I was about to say good first introduction there for Finlay Curtis. He nicks the ball off of his man immediately, loses it though, and it's out eventually for a throw-in. Good chance for him to come on, sort of show his thing. Rangers player, only 19 years of age as well, and going to his first World Cup. He played 48 minutes in the game against Curaçao. Was again part of earlier Scotland squad, so he's been in and around the team and knows how to handle himself amongst the top players, the likes of your John McGinns, Andy Robertsons, who of course are the main leaders in this Scotland side, and are going to be pivotal to whatever they do going forward in the World Cup. Here's Miguelito now for Bolivia, moving inside. Has to try and find some options again though. It's met by a wall. It's back to him though on the edge of the box. He might go for the shot here as well on the edge of the area. He'll drag it into the hands eventually though of Angus Gunn, who's had a couple of easy saves to make in this game, and that's certainly another one of them.
Yeah, right at him. It's not great, is it? Did he go for goal because he thought he was going to score? Did he go for goal because he really didn't have anything else on? I think he's just gone for goal because of the sake of it, and they haven't really attacked in this game whatsoever. 6-3 on the clock and a bit starved of, goal-mouth action in the second half. So he just thought, you know what, I'll just have a pop shot. Down on his knees there, Angus Gunn, just collects it very easily. It has to be said. Well, they've still got the clean sheet, Scotland. I think that's the most important thing at this point.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I think it'll put a bit of a dampener on it if they don't manage to get a clean sheet in this game. They've been absolutely dominant without even needing to get out of first gear, really. They've scored 4 goals. I mean, it's not bad, really, is it? Good form going into the tournament. Like England, who've still just got that 1-goal leads currently over New Zealand. Full new 11 as well for the second half, and meanwhile there's going to be another change or two for Bolivia. Zabala is getting ready to come on. He'll be on in place of Morales, the centre back, so a like for like swap there. And number 15 as well, Villamil, is also going to be coming off. That's in place of the number 6 Marcelo Torres. So another double change for Bolivia, another throw of the dice.
Yeah, why not? Get some players on the field, fresh legs as well. So I don't think it's really going to change the course of this game or anything about this game whatsoever, but it's just fresh legs and fresh faces, fresh mind and fresh ideas, hopefully, for them.
On towards Grant Hantley now. Back in towards the centre for Jack Hendry. There's also been another change as well for those Scotland ones that we must have missed at the time, but it is come in defence. Tony Ralston, Celtic fullback, on in place of Aaron Hickey. So another like-for-like swap there. I think that's just another case of keeping Hickey ready for the tournament rather than risking him going forward. We know about his injury record and how sometimes has found it hard to stay fit consistently. So just need to put him in bubble wrapping up that he's ready for that game against Haiti. Would expect him to start in that one over Ralston. There's Curtis now again for Scotland, back towards Tierney. Interestingly enough, Bolivia are actually in front in terms of possession in this game. 57% of the ball compared to Scotland's 43. Don't think there's too many cases of it's more about what you do with the ball rather than how much you have it than this game. Tierney, now cross again towards Curtis, who wants to take on the full-back. Might be given the chance. He's got round him as well. He's up towards the byline. It's a brilliant run from the Rangers man. He gets all the way in towards the 6-yard area, eventually out for a corner kick. And a brilliant run from Curtis, and it's rewarded with a set piece.
He looks very energetic, doesn't he? He's worked it very well down that left-hand side. A lot of pace about him as well, right to the byline, but the door slammed right in front of him, and that will be a corner, but he's well earned in the end. He's actually done extremely well. Another Scotland corner, not far off the drinks break, I don't think.
No, imagine it's just a couple of minutes away, maybe just straight after this corner is taken as well, which goes into the box. There's George Hurst definitely up there. I mean, you can pick him out quite easily, can't you, with that dyed hair. I think the last touch actually came off of Grant Hanley in the end. There were plenty of bodies in the wavering though, so it was always tough to get a proper head on it. And it's ultimately out for a goal kick, which Piscara is going to take shortly. Moves it out towards his defender. Now where is Hakeem again? Starting captain for Bolivia. Cross again now towards Zabala over on that far side. Driving up the pitch slowly but surely. Hurston, Stewart leading the lines again. Decent depth for Scotland to have those two to be able to come on as your second striker pairing. Of course, we imagine it now will be Adams and Shanklin starting up front in that first game against Haiti, which again we're going to touch on is absolutely crucial, and it's a real chance for them to put a statement down, isn't it, that first game, and you'd imagine them to do so.
Yeah, I think so. I'll get that drinks break now, but yeah, it's absolutely right. They'll be cashing on the fact that Haiti are so inexperienced and not a highly seeded team. They'll see that as a great chance to lay a mark down. Maybe even the goal difference side of things, try and bump up the numbers, because, I mean, like you say, if you get 3 points, you're guaranteed at least a chance of getting through in the third place playoffs. But, you get the bumping numbers up because there's only 3 games, and there's a very good chance that a couple of teams end on the same point. So they'll want to score as many. If they play like today, and the 4-0 against Haiti, then they're in a very strong position to start the tournament. That's for sure.
Yeah, they certainly will be. I mean, look at the Haiti team. It's not the most stacked. There is a few recognisable players in there. Wilson Isidore springs to mind as probably the standout. There is obviously Jean Bellegarde as well, who's just played for Wolves. Not had a great season though, of course. They've been relegated to the Championship. They're one of those sides where in this World Cup there feels like a few of them where there's not really much hope for them going into it. There's a few teams like that. I think of maybe Jordan as one of them. New Zealand as well, of course, who England are currently 1-0 up against. A few teams that you don't really have too much hope for. As Nathan mentioned, nothing's been going on in the meantime. We are still at the drinks break, which means we are up towards the halfway point of this second half. Scotland haven't quite been as electric in this second half. They hadn't needed to be, really. The job's been done since the first half. And Bolivia 0, Scotland 4. I'll pass you over to Nathan for the second half.
Yeah, thanks very much. Appreciate that. Still got a drinks break on between these two. There's a fan from Thailand that's come to the game, and he's put a Liverpool emblem on the sign saying, "Please can you sign my shirt, Andy Robertson." I don't think anyone's told him they may have just switched teams in the summer, unfortunately for him. We just see McLean getting ready to come on, the number 23 for Scotland. Kenny McLean looks like it'll be McTominay coming off. Fairly like for like in the middle of midfield. Number 4 goes off, number 23 comes on, so McLean comes on in his place as we look to resume this second half, as it's Bolivia 0, Scotland 4, with just over 20 minutes to play in this World Cup warm-up match for the team from the UK. As Scott McTominay did very well, kept things ticking over and got that goal from outside the box, which was very nice indeed. Took his game to a new level when he moved to Napoli. He's been absolutely brilliant, midfield maestro, that's for sure. Kieran Tierney throw in near side. He's going to throw it down the line, the number 6. High one for Hurst, the Ipswich man. Flicks it inside. McLean already trying to get there, as well as Curtis. Battling away. Again, more energy. That's a misplaced pass. It'll be another Scotland throw in. Can't play the way out. McLean's got a throw in. He's just going to leave it for Tierney. The Celtic man. He does have a long throw in his locker. We've already seen one of them. He may just go for another one into the box. They may load the box here. And the number 6, he's going to venture back to the advertising hoardings, glides forward, long throw in. That's a really good throw in, actually. It's hit off a Bolivia head, back the way it came. Tierney will try and take this down. Bit of tennis in there, and looks like Bolivia will just about clear their lines. Well, they're hesitant with it, more hungry to get the tackles in. If they won the throw, no, it will be a Bolivia throw in, but shows you 4-0 up with 20 minutes to play in a friendly, and they look so hungry to win the ball back to Scotland.
Yeah, they do. It's good signs. I mean, you don't want to be going too hard for it, do you? But it's the substitutes as well. They want to make their mark. They can't really afford to just lull about. They need to, prove to Steve Clarke why they should be getting considered for that first game against Haiti. So, well, they need to work hard. They need to make sure they're saving themselves. There's bigger fish to fry coming up for them. But it's been a fantastic sort of team performance from them. One that will inspire a lot of encouragement in the country going into this World Cup. And there's still plenty of time. Left to get some goals in.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're just seeing, and move it to the far side. Scotland now just on halfway, and just going in the centre circle to Jack Hendry. Moved over to Grant Hanley, and just keeping hold of the ball with 18 to play. Near side of centre, Tierney zips it to the near side to Curtis. Not scared to run at a fullback. It's refreshing to see in a wing. He's playing left side as a right footer. McGinn right side as a left footer. He's moved over to that far side as McGinn. And John McGinn, he's just dropped slightly short. Moves it inside centre to Hendry. Key ball for Scotland there, happy on it at the minute. 18 to play, still 4-0 to Scotland, hasn't changed since the break. Ball down the line, looking for Hurst. Can't find him, can't collect it. Bolivia should clear their lines. Has that gone out? No, it stays in, but can't get it out their own half. Has it gone out of play? It has. Be a throw in on the far side for Scotland. Two teams that I think are ready just to hear the full-time whistle for two very different reasons at this point. There's a ball can be thrown in by Ralston. Goes all the way back to halfway to Grant Hanley into the centre circle of the Bolivia half. Right to left, Scotland in the second half in their red, blue and red. It's a lovely kit. Ball forward, looking for George Hurst. Too much on it, it'll be a goal kick. But I think the tempo's just dropped for Scotland and they're happy with what they've got. And I think that's what Steve Clarke said to them. Just drop the tempo, happy with what you got. You're 4-0 up, you've done the hard work, and we'll just coast through till the 90 minutes.
Yeah, and rightfully so as well. Might be a nice chance just to maybe change, maybe try something different as well. Try some different sort of systems and patterns. You may as well. That's what it's basically a training game, isn't it, at this point for them? Every time Bolivia even look like they're about to get on the ball, there's about 3 Scotland players around them immediately. It shows the difference in the fitness levels. I mean, a lot of these Bolivia players they're not playing at top level at all. Any of them, are they really? They've not got the facilities that the Scotland players have at their disposal. So it just shows you the sort of difference and why we regard the top leagues of the Premier Leagues and stuff like that in such high regard.
There's on halfway for Scotland. Just with Hanley, right of centre. It's a key ball for them. They're just at walking pace at this point. I think they're happy with what they've done. First meet between these two, actually, in history. We won't really call this competitive meeting, of course. It's friendly, but first meeting nonetheless. Ball over to the near side's overhit, and that'll be a goal kick to Bolivia. Bolivia have won just 1 of 21 games against European sides. It looks like it's 1 of 22. It's not a good look for them, is it?
You never know. There's still 16 minutes left to go. They could go and score 4 or 5 goals left in this one. But yeah, I mean, when you're not playing the European teams regularly, in friendlies and stuff, and you are playing them in sort of competition. Well, you're going to be playing them in friendlies. Actually, you're not going to be playing in these competitions because you're not qualifying for them. And it's such a difference, isn't it? I mean, we saw that Bolivia have conceded 35 goals. In qualifying. It was the most in the group phase. They were extremely lucky to get through to the intercontinental playoff, and then being dumped out by a team like Iraq, who exactly are not themselves a heavy hitter. It's maybe showing you why Bolivia don't get to many tournaments and maybe don't have success against European teams, because they've been thoroughly outclassed here by a Scotland side that could go far at the World Cup, could have a decent tournament, but certainly not regarded as one of the top European sides.
No, and it's definitely been men against boys, the cliche. But it definitely has been that way this afternoon, or this evening in our country, this afternoon over in New York. As just going to be played backwards and kept hold of by Hakuin. Just keeps the ball centrally in his own half, goes left to Torres, one of the substitutes. Just going to go to halfway, feed it through the midfield. They'll have to go back, being forced backwards into their own half. And they just stand still at the minute. A lot of movement in front of them at the minute. And they've actually given the ball away. George Hurst has the ball. That's a poor touch. Allowed his man in. He shouldn't have as well. They're leading a 3-on-3. It's actually getting very, very poor. And Bolivia had the ball. But that's very poor by the number 18, because they won it well. And they're in a really strong position.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where if it happens a lot early in the game when the score isn't 4-0, it probably goes and does a lot better with that. But because Scotland have not taken their eye off the ball, but certainly dropped the intensity a little bit, they've just sort of maybe let that chance go a little bit, and they're not quite turned onto it. So unfortunate in the end there for Hurst, who of course wants to make the most with the time that he's gone on the pitch, but can't quite do it on that situation.
You just have the ball with Vizcarra at the back in between the sticks for Bolivia, moves it to the far side, and keep ball now centrally on the edge of the D with Torres, and just gone backwards, misplaced pass, but it goes all the way back to Vizcarra, and who sports a tash. A moustache, does the Bolivia keeper. Looks like a very old school throwback keeper. Looks like an old school player. Looks like we should be watching him in black and white. He's not had the best afternoon, of course. There's a ball on the near side with Jack Hendry. Just walking about with the ball at the minute. Scotland inside their own half. And Tierney. Studs on the ball. Bolivia ready in another substitute. The number 11. 3 more for Scotland. So once the ball goes dead, we'll have 4 substitutes to deal with, as the ball's just on the near side with Tierney, and back he goes to Gunn. All yellow for him, moves it to the far side. Moved inside. Ralston, inside he goes, just right of centre with Hanley. Keep ball now for Scotland. McLean, a little bit of movement in front of him, looks for his man. It's a bit of an adventurous ball. It's picked off. Back it goes to Torres, and all the way back it goes to Vizcarra. 12 minutes plus additional to play. Just waiting for the ball to go dead, and then we'll have some substitutions to deal with. And Torres he's at standstill himself. Two teams that are fairly uninterested in this at the minute. I think Bolivia have pretty much given up the ghost, and Scotland have pretty much wrapped this up. So it's become a bit of a dead rubber.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough watch, isn't it, at the moment, in terms of the sort of intensity of the game. There's pretty much nothing to it as it stands. I mean, Bolivia, we knew that they weren't the greatest of sides, but it's just been complete sort of one-sided in a way that you wouldn't really expect to see, even though Scotland have done everything right. It's been complete men against boys, and I think both teams would love to get off the pitch right now. I think the Scotland players would just like to conserve themselves. They've been asked for the fans in the stands, though. They've seen this side score 4 goals and look really good throughout this game, and of course, nice little holiday for them as well before the real stuff starts.
Yeah, it's acclimatised season for Scotland. There's going to be a free kick here for Bolivia. They're going to have a fairly dangerous position. McLean going through his man. May just get the chance for them substitutions, but that's an attacking position where they can get the ball at least into the box. We're going to have to just see if these substitutions are going to come first or not. Interesting to see. McLean, it's going to be Suter. Here we go. We're going to have some substitution, but a good chance for Bolivia.
Yeah, it is. They've had a few sort of opportunities like this, haven't they, so far, where they can get the ball into the box. They've never quite delivered, though, and Scotland, as I mentioned right at the start of the game, have just got that superior physicality about them. One of the changes, Jack Hendry off in place of Suter. Ferguson is also off. I think Hanley is as well. Hyam, one of the players coming on. There's a few to sort of keep note of here. A few of them, including Lewis Ferguson, having a chat with Steve Clarke as a result of it as well. So we'll see exactly what the confirmed substitutes are. I think Scott McKenna might have been another one of them as well. Bolivia are going to make a change as well. The number 14, Mateus, is going to make way. He's coming off in place of number 11, Nabil Nassif.
Yeah, so a lot of substitutions to get a hold of that. Both centre halves coming off for Scotland. I think it will be Scott McKenna, but some defending to do already from this free kick. So under pressure they are with 10 to go. They may just be going for goal here. Maybe Melga, the number 20, has had nothing really to shout about. I think he's going for goal here from 30 yards, hit the wall. From that far out, he's put it along the floor and it's hit the wall. Not great viewing.
No, that was pretty terrible. That, I mean, that just sums up the state of the set piece deliveries that we've seen from Bolivia so far in this game. I mean, he's gone for goal, and rightfully so. They're 4-0 down and not playing for anything. He may as well just try and hit that one and hope he scores a great goal and has a memorable moment. But he hits it straight down into the wall, doesn't get any sort of loft or power on it whatsoever. It's I mean, the wall doesn't even have to really jump at that point, do they? They can just sort of stand where they are and it's just going to cannon off them anyway. So yeah, really poor from Bolivia.
As Scotland just have it at the back. There's no real threat to their clean sheet either. You'd have to say it's been comfortable for them. It has to be said, very comfortable indeed. George Hurst, bad first touch once again. Is that going to be a free kick? It is. There's enough on it. He's just put sort of save face. Makazaga has just gone in on his man. The bad touch sort of attracts him into it, and then he suckered him into it, and then he's just got the ball first, and there's a bit of a stamp. Yeah, it's definitely a free kick.
It's clever, isn't it, from Hurst? He just invites the contact there, and Makazaga falls for it immediately. He goes to get maybe a bit of a rush of blood to the head, just goes straight in for the challenge, and Hurst invites the contact, does really nicely with it. Just noticed as well, there was another change in all that. Lewis Ferguson went off, and he went off in place of Tyler Fletcher. So a good moment there for the Man United youngster. Again, another one of those young Scottish players that have got something about them. A lot of good talent coming through, and they've been given the chance to showcase it. Yeah,
you can't discredit Scotland. They always give the youngsters a chance on the grand stage. Of course, this is a friendly, but they're taking them to the World Cups. They're not scared of doing so. Steve Clarke's obviously keeping tabs on the Man United man. There's going to be a foul there in the centre, surely on a Scotland man. There is. It's going to be hacked down by Vaca on his man, on Fletcher, and it will be a free kick. It's a good turn from the number 8, but he's running the wrong way, and probably the foul didn't have to come in, but relieves the pressure. It'll be a Scotland free kick, 8 to play. I know there's been a lot of substitutions, no goals, not a lot of injuries, but you would be fairly disheartened for this game as a neutral if the referee was going to add on a lot of additional time, because I think you need to show a bit of mercy.
You certainly would. I mean, I think everyone's just sort of begging for him to not play too long. I mean, there has been, of course, a lot of changes. Scotland have pretty much got an entire new 11 out compared to the one that they started with. It's just a handful, maybe one. I think, is it just Angus Gunn in goal? That's the only player that's started that is still on the pitch at this current time it is. So maybe they'll still add all the minutes on for that. We of course did Romania versus Wales just before this. That was a friendly that didn't mean anything, and we still had 6 minutes added at the end because Wales made that many changes. So did Romania as well. So there is that possibility, but we've had no other stoppages in this second half. There's been no injuries, which is of course a great sign to see. There's been no goals as well, which is a bit more unfortunate. So yeah, that's the only thing that you can see them adding on for.
Yeah, but hopefully, being a friendly, the officials may just show a bit of mercy to Bolivia, who have been absolutely dominated this afternoon. A brilliant first half performance. It's been a professional performance in this second half for Scotland. You can't discredit them for that. But I thought we had a head injury there, which would have just spoke that into existence. But I think he's going to be okay.
There's been a yellow card as well, hasn't there, for Anthony Ralston. Maybe a little bit harsh. I didn't think the referee was going to produce a card in the game, especially at this stage where it's 4-0 and all the zap's gone out of it. But Ralston, the substitute, finds himself the only player in the Scottish book.
Yeah, it's a yellow card apiece. Miguelito talked his way into a yellow card early in the second half, and then Ralston there clattering into his man has got himself in the book. 6 to play. It still remains Bolivia 0, Scotland 4, and it's been that way ever since the first whistle of the second half. Back it goes for Bolivia. England still 1 up, by the way, in Florida. 4 minutes to play there. England 1 and New Zealand 0. It was a Harry Kane header that's the difference between the two. A new 11 for England as well. I do believe coming out of the second half, I think everyone changed, including the keeper. James Trafford came in as well. So complete different new 11, which is something you'd like to see, giving everyone a chance. I think Thomas Tuchel's taken a few names there that are not even featuring in the major tournament, it has to be said. It's just going to be moved for Tierney. He wants to run down the line, he's not getting it, so he's just going to have to do the split 180 and go backwards to Suter, the Rangers centre half. Over it goes to his other centre half in Hayam, and moving it forward. John McGinn, good trap. Well, it's been nicked off the pocket. Can Bolivia get through? Maybe have a chance of goal. They've gone for the shot early. Not the right decision. It'll be a goal kick. Needs to look up or carry it further.
Yeah, he's not going to get the appreciation of his teammates, is he? There, the number 6 Torres, one of the other substitutes for Bolivia. I mean, they've got a 3-on-2 there. A good chance to get a goal in this one and maybe just restore some pride. In the end, he's a little bit selfish. It's a good interception from him in the first place. He nicks it off of Fletcher and he drives forward with a good bit of purpose. And as he lines the shot up there, you just feel like he's not in the best position to shoot. He's always dragging it. And in the end, it's not even a save for Angus Gunn to make. He can easily just watch it roll wide. Doesn't catch it right at all. Bit of a scuffed shot. And that's probably Bolivia's best chance for second half gone.
Yeah, that was really scuffed. I think that just speaks volumes on the quality we've seen. As it's going to go back to Gunn in the 6-yard box. He just takes it out to McLean and over to Suter, left side edge of the box. Suter carrying it forward, down the line to Tierney. Over halfway he goes. 2 more substitutions for Bolivia. Stretch the legs for the final 2 minutes. And clipped over to the far side for Ralston to trap on the chest. Good play. Chance to cross. He's going to do so now. It looks like a tease. It's a really good ball in. Just evades everyone. It'll be a goal kick. Ross Stewart looking for maybe one of his first touches of the game. Good run. He was well found. A bit awkward. Just a bit too far in front of him. Goal kick.
Yeah, he's had to be patient though, hasn't he? Ross Stewart since coming on. Not the sort of game you want to come on in as a striker. You want to go into a game that's got lots of chances. It's not quite happened for him. Lopez and Viviani are going to be coming on, by the way, for Bolivia. Vaca is one of the players going off. Just waiting to see who the other one was as well. I think it's number 7 Miguelito, isn't it, as well, who's made way. So that's a double change for Bolivia. But yeah, good effort there from Scotland. Again, just when they want to score, it feels like they could do, but obviously they're not out of first gear. They don't need to do it. And yeah, decent ball in. Stewart just a little bit too far off it.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2 more substitutions. That's probably about it for Bolivia at this point, with 3 to play. As it's going to try and be played forward. Scotland's going to pen them in and keep the ball far side. John McGinn zips it into the box to Hurst. Can he turn out? He's going to go for goal. Shot comes in, across goal, goal kick. It's not a million miles away. He did have a couple of options, but he went for glory in the end. And it's not that far wide at all. It's a really good attempt.
It's a fantastic attempt, isn't it? Really, really good effort there from George Hurst. He gets plenty behind it. And again, one of those Scotland strikers that have come on. It's not a million miles away from the post. Keeper looks beaten in that situation, And good play again from Scotland. Again, just turning it on when they want to, reminding Bolivia they could just go and score another 2 at any point that they want. But Hurst just can't quite find the bottom corner.
There's a goal kick. It's going to be taken by Vizcarra. It's going to be a big head from Suter. It's a good win by the big centre-half. It's fallen away of Hurst, near side, back to the opposition goal. And he'll just play a 1-2 and keep hold of it, but he has no interest in going forward at the minute. It's a 1-2 with Fletcher. He's moved it to the far side. It's neat football. Curtis going to take on his man. He zips it inside, looking for Hurst, come off a Bolivia knee. And it will be a throw-in near side for Kieran Tierney, who's practically got a cross on him with his 2 hands. I think that's what he's not going to do. He's going to throw it backwards to Suter. Minute and a half of the mandatory 90 done. Nearly an hour and a half of football done. And Scotland lead by 4-0. Practically got it done in 40 minutes. It has to be said. Ball's going to come in. No, it's hit a Bolivia leg. It'll be a throw-in on the near side where Tierney may just come over and take. He may just throw this one into the box, the number 6. He's going to go short again. He's looking for Fletcher, who's just conceded the possession and then pulled his man. That will be a free kick. But job very well done for Scotland, it has to be said in the end.
Yeah, it is. I think that you used the word earlier on, and it was professional. I think that's exactly the best way to go about it. We usually use that word for teams in sort of cup appearances, don't we? When it's just a job against a lower league team, and that's exactly the case this afternoon for Scotland. They've been by far the better team. They've known it as well the whole time. It's just been professional from them. It's been easy going. Steve Clarke will be happy with the game management shown in the end as well. A different side that you sometimes have to show. Scotland are not used to being 4-0 up in games. In the qualifiers, they're always sort of battling tooth and nail to try and get anything they can. You'd expect that to be the case in the World Cup. So it's a good little bit of change of pace for them. They've shown that they can adapt. Yeah,
and they've definitely done it. A very good professional performance at 4-0 up. Not getting ahead of themselves, over committing. And just keeping the 4-0 scoreline. We're just about to find out how much additional time there'll be. It's in the centre circle with Hakwin. Moves it to the far side to Fernandez. Has the ball on that far touchline. And still on halfway. Right bang in the middle of the pitch. Hakwin, right of centre. He's going to glide the ball forwards. It's going to be headed out. And then it's going to be cleared. Referee, no real indication of how much added time there'll be. There'll be 3 minutes added on. It's not that much. McGinn moves it to the near side. Are they going to go for a 5th? Overhit pass. Can it be kept in? It can't. He was unlucky there. Working very hard on this near side to keep it in. Was Curtis, but couldn't do so in the end. But yeah, 3 minutes added on. No sign of another goal, and I think they'll be happy with the form. They've got that clean sheet we talked about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, unless something changes drastically right at the end of this game, Scotland have got a nice clean sheet to go on their travels. That'll send them off nicely to the World Cup. That 4-1 win against Curacao, scoring goals in that. They've scored 8 goals in 2 friendlies against, albeit a side that is going to be at the World Cup, but we don't expect to do anything, and a side that won't be there. It's still a job well done, and they've shown they can do it against the lesser opposition. So really well done from Scotland.
As it's just at the back with Bolivia, 2 to play, and Lopez has the ball, pulling the strings, wearing the armband now, the Bolivia midfielder. It's just right of centre on this near side as we can see it. They're just going to move it to the far side. Over on that far touchline, Bolivia maybe come forward just to try and get one, and damage limitation through the legs. Is that a push? It must be. To save a bit of face. Got nutmeg there. Did Fletcher, and he's pushed his man. It will be a free kick. Just to get the ball in the box. You never know.
You never know, do you? I mean, he gets the better of his man there. Fletcher just pushing, but he barely gets any sort of contact on him. It's barely even a bit of wind, isn't it, there from Tyler Fletcher. Still, though, another set-piece chance for Bolivia. Maybe just to make up for some of the set-pieces we've seen from them in this game, because it has been pretty woeful at times. Ball's just hitting the first man constantly. Is that going to change right at the end?
Chance to get a ball in. They're going to dig one out now. It doesn't look too bad. Big header from Suter. Good centre-half. Good in the air. And just showing it once again there. That's a pullback. Maybe a yellow card. He may just get away with it because it's a friendly, but it was cynical and it was stopping a counter-attack. Yeah, he's got away with it, but he definitely wouldn't in a competitive match, that's for sure. Just going to go short to Hyam. Full time in Florida, England 1, New Zealand 0. A Harry Kane header in the first half has got England the victory before Costa Rica. And then a week on Wednesday, they face Croatia, probably the hardest team in the group, to open their campaign. But they've got the job done and they've got the win of England. And it looks like Scotland themselves definitely have done that as well. Ball forward to the far side. McGinn on the spin. inside the box, done extremely well. The Villa man shot straight at the keeper. Not a bad attempt, did really well to create some room, but the Vizcarra, the Bolivia keeper, has got hold of it. He's just going to bowl the ball to the far side, keeping hold of it. The referee's had a little glance. We're ticking towards the 3 minutes done, and the referee blows for full time. This match was done a long time ago. At full time, it's Bolivia 0, Scotland 4.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary